Thanks for being here. This is Truth Seekers with your host, Stephen Cambion. Please rate, like and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar, and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat room during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truth Seekers. Truth Seekers.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. And I want to take a moment to welcome back perhaps some old friends. Some time ago, we switched softwares from one to the other, and we no longer had the streaming slots that we used to have. So we stopped broadcasting my live shows on Facebook and also on Twitter. But recently, I was able to kind of consolidate the software that we pay for and upgrade the software that we pay for once again to get us back to, I think we have 8 streaming slots, and now we're using 6 of them. 2 of them are just Facebook, though. We're now broadcasting once again to the Truth Seekers Facebook page and also to my page, Stephen Cambion, on Facebook. And we're now once again broadcasting on X against my better judgment at Stephen Cambion on X. I didn't mind losing or not broadcasting to Facebook and X. And there's a reason for that. It's because I broadcasted my live shows to those 2 platforms for years, and still I'm somehow unable to be monetized at all on any of those platforms. And when I think about okay, I'm providing thousands of hours of content, and yes, the views weren't fantastic, but the views were there. An average X video would get 500 to 1,000 views, and also same for Facebook. So, and for those that don't know, if you post clickbait fake videos all day on X or Facebook, you can get monetized very quickly. But if you actually do fact-based research, real journalism, forget it. You're never, especially from the skeptical side, you're never going to get monetized. But many people have commented to me like, oh, I used to watch on X and I prefer to watch on X because there's no ads. And then I realized, oh, yeah, we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot broadcasting to these other platforms. Some people prefer to watch on X because there's no YouTube ads. Some people prefer to watch on Facebook for the same reasons. So then we're shooting ourselves in the foot on the platforms that are monetizing us. In any case, I still think it's better to just broadcast to a larger section of the internet. I will say this, when we were broadcasting to all these places, we had many, many more Patreon supporters and many, many more PayPal pledgers and many, many more people buying me a beer. I suppose because they're not watching on YouTube, so they want to support the show, but they don't send a super chat or whatever. They choose to support the show in other ways. Mystifying Mark, is that the David Wilcock fan or someone else? Okay, so this week on Truth Seekers, I don't know how, but this week has turned into Wackadoo Week on Truth Seekers. And once again, we're covering people we haven't covered in forever, including someone we've never covered. And the views will be half of what the usual shows are. So you people in the comments that are crying that I cover David Wilcock too much or this person too much or that person too much, this is why. because when I do what some of these people, we need to see new people that you haven't covered before. I take the hit every time. We did yesterday. We're going to do it again today. Maybe I'm just trying to prove a point to the crybabies and some of the people crying in the comments. I don't know, but tonight we are going to include one of my favorite wackadoos, and that is Crazy Kerry Cassidy. I've noticed that a lot of people are calling her Crazy Kerry Cassidy, and I don't know if that's because I started calling her Crazy Kerry Cassidy years ago, and it's caught on, or it's just easy, double consonant, Crazy Kerry. She is one of the craziest. Like, I love her interviews because if you listen to her interview somebody, somehow she's an expert at always turning the thing around into being about her. Like, somebody will start talking about their superpowers or psychic powers, and then Kerry has to chime in and one up them. Well, I was a princess in ancient Egypt where I was a telepath and all this stuff. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, look at that. We've got comments over here on the Facebook feed. I haven't seen that in quite some time. Welcome, Laura Ferguson. Says, David's Awakening Dreams book I stopped reading mid a while back. Well, even reading one page of it is a waste of time. So somebody in the Kick Chat says, have a couple of bucks, man. That means we probably have to check in with the Kick Chat. And for those unaware, we even started tonight's broadcast with the bag bumper. Yeah, I just heard Kino Casino busting Dark Side Phil's balls because he begs so much that he should just make a bumper and just hit a soundboard, just hit a button to beg. That's what we have, a convenient begging bumper. So I don't have to keep saying it verbally myself, though we probably will, right? Yeah, I'm starting to get worried that I'm going to really need money soon. We have a problem with our furnace, and it's still not, I don't know, it's just acting up. I'm hoping that it'll get us through the winter at least, and we'll be able to save up. And yeah. 1712 Mariner. Oh, man, what happened? My button doesn't work anymore. It must need batteries. Oh, all right. I'll just scream. 1712 Mariner. Yay! Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. Gifting one subscription. We appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us. 1712 Mariner. Supporting the show from Kick, which we love because we get to keep most of that. So, in 1 second here. We have Amber Geddon with one for the goal. Now I feel lost without that noise. I'll just yell for Amber Geddon. Yay! Thank you, Amber Geddon. I'm so excited to see you cover this interview with this Ashayana wackadoo. Thank you so much, Stephen. Well, I'm doing this by requests. People wanted me to do this, right? So, here I am. One moment. There we go. We have to get the praise the cash going. Thank you, Amber Geddon.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
And we want to take a moment to thank 1712 Mariner as well. Praise the cash. Thank you for the kick support. Much appreciated. All right, and we've got Trolley Troll chiming in. This one's is for last night's show. Thank you. Yay! I'm going to have to find a sound effect of applause or something real quickly on the fly here. This one's for last night's show. Well, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Longtime show supporter and channel member, Trolley Troll. Amber Geddon is also a channel member. You see that? Even people who are members still throwing a couple more bucks in our hat to support the show. Love to see it. Thank you, Trolley Troll. Thank you, Amber Geddon. And thank you, Mariner1712.
Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Right. We're going to put our fair use banner up. I don't know. Macario found this interview, which I've never seen. If you don't know about Ashayana Deane, apparently she wrote this series of books called Voyagers. And what's interesting is that a lot of the secret space people and super soldiers steal their stories directly from this book. So I'm told it's somewhat of a Bible amongst the secret space clowns and amongst the super soldier clowns. We saw recently, all roads are connected. We saw we start covering this Ismail Perez secret super soldier space clown, and his story is basically directly stolen from this lady's book, which predates him by 20 plus years. So that's interesting, right? And it's interesting that we get to see now what may be the blueprint for many, many of these stories. And I don't have the book, but I did get a PDF. And it appears to me very clear, especially Ismail Perez so far, stole his most or all of his story from this Ashayana Deane. So she's kind of like one of the OGs, right, of the secret space nutters and the people that talk to aliens and are star seeds and all this kind of stuff. I see H-Bomb. Big shout out to H-Bomb. He's going to come and help me sort the heater issue here, and we really appreciate that. I hated to ask him, but I listen. If I need to replace my entire furnace, if the furnace is it's really old, if it's just beat and it can't be fixed, that's fine. But the problem is there's too many scammy companies in my area. One tried to sell me a furnace when all we needed was a thermostat wire replaced once, which is like $5 worth of wire to fix, right? So it's good to have a friend who does HVAC that can come and just tell me what the story is, if nothing else, right? Why do these things always happen at the worst time, right? Like, if the furnace had broken next month, I would be like, oh, well, we're done for the season. We'll get it fixed next month or whatever, or we'll get a new one or whatever before winter. You know, we have plenty of time. But of course, right in the middle of, and by the way, I have a cold, which is terrible. If you have a cold and then your house is cold on top of the cold, it's not good. And I'm a blood thinner, so who's going to create an image for super space clowns? Yeah, we should do that. I'm going to put my fair use banner up because Kerry Cassidy loves to throw around legal threats. She's going to sue everybody and shit. She's a nutbag. Nutbag, crazy Kerry. Oh, and for those unaware, crazy Kerry Cassidy from Project Scam-A-Lot. That's what I call it. It's Camelot, but I've always said Project Scam-A-Lot because she's a scammer. The people that she uses for sources for the alien stories are like convicted child predators. In one case, she's using Captain Mark Richards, who was never a captain. A guy is literally in a jail cell and is a convicted murderer. And she goes to prison to visit him, and she writes down his secret space clown stories. I guess he's saving Earth, teleporting himself out of a jail cell. I don't know. It's really ridiculous, right? 1 second here. So we've got our fair use banner up. I'm going to share my screen. And we want to welcome one and all, especially those chatting. I'm seeing the aggregated chat. So whether you're chatting on Facebook, on YouTube, or commenting or chatting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, or Kick, I see you. And welcome one and all. Okay, let's share my screen. So thanks to Macario, he found this interview on, of all places, Vimeo. I didn't even know Vimeo was still a thing, but apparently it is. Please pardon me here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this cold. It's been more than a week, and I feel no better. In fact, I would venture to say I think I feel worse since this all began. All right, let's begin. 2 hours and 36 minutes. We might have to do a two-parter on this. I'm not going. There's no way I can take 2 hours of this bitch. Of both these crazy. These are some crazy bitches. I just want to put it out there. Like, I didn't mean to make this wackadoo week on Truth Seekers, but here we are. These two bitches are about as wackadoo as you can get. Crazy Kerry Cassidy and this Ashayana Deane. Let's get into it, friends. You never go full wackadoo. And somebody asked when this interview was done. I don't know. If anybody knows, please let me know. Because people have, posted and reposted Kerry's old interviews, and generally people don't put a date of when the interview originally was done. But I'm guessing somewhere in the 2010s, maybe. And by the way, this interview gets pretty crazy. Wait till you hear the shit that this Ashayana Deane is saying. Ascension mechanics. So we see that ascension and people promising ascension for money is nothing new, right?
Hi, I'm Kerry Cassidy from Project Camelot, and I'm very pleased to be here with Ashayana Deane. And basically, I think I'm going to let you do your own introduction as to who you are and some of your background. You know, it's interesting to hear you talk about yourself just briefly, because we're going to be talking about the material most of the time. So, for example, I would say that you are the author of the Voyager books. Part of the appeal is for people to kind of get your personality.
This is roughly
and
edited.
If you get a question that you're not quite prepared for, your personality will start to show.
Well, it's showing. What do you do with that? I don't know. how to
Looks like
describe
disco
it.
porn.
And,
Yeah.
and it's very delightful. So
2010, that's what I thought.
nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
So, but
I said
anyway,
around the
I'm gonna
2010s.
say
Yeah.
you've come here to teach about ascension. Would
Yes.
that be accurate
Yes. that would
at
be
this
very
time on the
accurate.
planet?
That is correct.
And I'm
And,
known as Speaker One in the Melchizedek Cloister Emerald Order.
That's how I'm starting to feel.
Given to me. And the other two.
Just getting
speakers,
used to
three of
being
us
sick
are
all the time.
Present in the room with us.
Okay.
I have a
American
wood burning
citizen.
stove. I don't like pellets. I like firewood. I have a
And
wood burning
where did you grow
stove.
up? In what state?
It's what I'm
I
using
was
to
born in
keep the kids
Pennsylvania,
warm.
and I
And
was
my
raised in
wife.
Pennsylvania and New York, and then moved to New Jersey, and then moved to Florida, and then to England, and then to Arizona, and then to Colorado, and then back to Florida.
I'll
Okay,
check
so
a
you've
bow
been
wow.
around.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
great.
Actually, following spiritual guidance, we were asked to move. Once it was past the the childhood and adolescent times, the moves were following what I was advised to do by the Guardian Alliance.
Okay.
The Guardian Alliance
And
is
you are
telling
in
her what to
touch
do.
with what you call the Guardian Alliance.
That's what they call themselves.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you consider yourself a channeler? Because I'm aware of what it is you do, but I'm going to ask you questions that may seem wrong. Okay.
Feel free.
And so at that point, you can correct me, and it's totally fine.
Is not channeling. In fact, we teach against channeling because it's dangerous. It is a process of electronic data streaming that it's quite
Ashayana
sophisticated,
Deane.
but it doesn't work like channeling. Channeling involves literally another entity coming in and sharing a body with you, and that is not permitted in our teachings because it can actually damage your DNA. This is an electronic data streaming called chelantic transmission. And
It's not channeling. It's something called chelantic transmission. Are we clear on that? It's not channeling. It's chelantic electronic data streaming. Chelantic transmission.
And it is literally electronic data streaming, but interdimensionally, as opposed to simply on the horizontal like we do it here. And that is the way that the Guardian Alliance communicates with me and has since childhood. But they have also, in my younger years, I had both negative abduction.
You know, I apologize. I should have fixed this. Is it me, or is this fucking voice from this video only on one side of the? It's not stereo.
Negative groups of visitors, and it was the Guardian Alliance that actually rescued me from those situations.
They sure do make up some
And
goofy
I
stuff.
learned a lot about why I had the experiences. It had to do with the contract I came in with.
Yeah,
It took
definitely.
People quite a few years to wake up and realize what they came in to do, what they birthed in to do, and that was why I had the issues with the with Zetas and things like that when I was in my younger years. By the time I was 12, the Guardians had begun teaching me for the commission that I later learned what it was for speaking
Is it?
for Melchizedek Cloister Emerald Order, and
That's weird.
Once that became clear,
Yeah, I don't know.
experiences weren't frightening.
Seems like it's
before they
one-sided
were,
to me.
Abduction experiences. And
So the aliens started talking to her when she was
They didn't
12.
involve little grays, and they didn't involve spaceships. They involved literal teleportation through Merkaba vehicle and those kind of things. So it's been a colorful way of to get to the point where I am here teaching the material that I'm teaching. It's been very interesting and colorful. In the first few years, I was required to speak about that a lot. That's why I don't like to speak about myself anymore. I'm honestly bored with the subject of me, right? Because the first few years,
Yeah, I can do that.
with the books and everything. It was all about me and my story.
Hold on.
Like, it's out there. Go read it if you want to. But this is the interesting stuff, the information we're teaching. So
It's bad.
I totally honor the fact
Bad original audio, and check out Kerry's edits. They're just like jump cuts.
that you've told your story many times, and it is out there. And so I do encourage people to go out and investigate her background, to watch other audio and video presentations she's done.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're excellent, and I have watched a few of them,
Maybe it's me.
and I'd love to watch more. And she's an excellent speaker.
Oh,
and
now it
so
seems
I
more
encourage you
stereo.
to
I don't know.
investigate
That's weird.
if you're watching this. So what I'd like to do from here is really get into
The
what the
crazy.
agenda is.
We're gonna get into the
what
crazy.
we call the service to self, or negative-oriented ETs, visitors, what have you. And then if you could talk about that, and then if you could also talk about what the
I don't miss
positive
3D
side,
printers, Caleb. I
Service
gave
to
up
Others
on them.
is doing, what their objective is in
Too much
being in
maintenance,
contact
too much
with
of a
us
pain in the
here,
ass.
and so on. So that's where we want to go.
okay. Do we have to take the short road, or can we?
They
take
gave her
more
the
interesting
information
road?
on
Let's
for the
take
books.
the interesting road.
What are
Okay.
CDT
Because the
plates?
interesting road, by the time we get to answering that question, will make a lot more sense. And the interesting
Yes,
road does have
crazy
to
Kerry
include
Cassidy,
questions. But I
Humboldt
understand
honey.
that we'd asked you that
All for you.
give us a few questions or something that you're planning to ask. You listed a couple things like ascension mechanics, the human race and where it's going and this kind of thing. There is a way to explain this. We've been working for 10 years. Every workshop, this is our 84th coming up.
Did you imagine this
And
bitch's husband?
One is new information.
Like, yeah, you're channeling the
So
aliens
so
again.
we
Shut
have
up,
been-
bitch.
The Guardian Alliance has been providing us with.
Look at how she's
progressively
sitting.
growing
Yeah,
teachings
like a
since the
guru.
books were out.
Right?
Very, very technical teachings on ascension, on stargates, on understanding planetary stargates, galactic stargates, universal stargates, how they all work, what the process of ascension is, all of this thing. In understanding some of those things, like what is a stargate anyway? What is ascension anyway, right? And understanding some
Johnny
of those, it helps
Cash.
to
I used to
point
call
out
him
where we
Father
actually
Grab a
are on the
Dollar.
planet, which explains what is going on.
Father, grab a dollar.
Explains what their agenda is, why they're doing what they're doing, and what we can do about it, because there is a negative and positive side to this. But the picture is much bigger than most people realize. Even people in the UFO movement and people in the New Age movement, they have pieces of the story.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
found-
Again, every one of these people, they have all the answers. Just like Ismail Perez. Remember his book pitch? Whatever questions you have, I have all the answers. Every question you've ever had, I have all the answers. Same with this woman. Most people just have pieces of the truth. I have all the truth. Chris Demarius with one for the goal. Thank you very much. You had a colonic transmission at the gastroenterologist's office. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you talking about this crazy bitches, or are you talking about me? I did not have a colonic anything, right? But thank you, Chris Demarius, longtime show supporter and a YouTube channel member, for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. Much
Raise
appreciated.
the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right. Yes, she knows everything. Thank you, Krista Marius. Exactly. She knows everything. She was a writer for Stargate. No, but she ripped off some Stargate lore for her books, I'm sure, right? Yes, she created the playbook. I was just talking about this earlier. She created the playbook for a lot of these secret space clowns. Exactly. And I don't know if I'm assuming she's still alive. She doesn't look that old in this 2010 thing. We're 15, 16 years on here, but she's not like actively running around and doing podcast appearances or anything, though.
Out what this story was as it progressed, because I had my cellular memory turned on for a while. I had incarnational memory since I was very small, so it was not new to me. But when the Guardians revealed progressive,
Oh, I fixed it. Oh, it was just somehow the button got put off.
And,
It's got an off button.
moved
Imagine
past
that. I apologize.
Point of realizing
Now I feel better.
I mean, it is so tiny, the little dramas that we're worrying about here. This is much, much bigger. And
Colonic
we
transmission when you took your
for
dump.
10 years, we hardly did
Oh.
any media at all. We didn't do interviews. We had a couple little interviews, and we turned down a lot of radio interviews and that kind of thing because we wanted to kind of just fly under the radar and do our things. We do our
Thank
workshops.
you, Chris Demarius. He was addressing the Ayesha woman, right?
Because the Guardian Alliance has asked us to. They are on now.
Thanks for being a member for 9 months, and praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
2012 is very important, and so are the periods right after it. This to coin a phrase from Anderson Cooper's show, "Planet in peril." Yes, to put it mildly. So
it's a planet in peril. The whole planet is in peril, and in order to save Earth, you've got to buy her shit.
That are taking place now in a certain. It's a sequence, and you're free to interrupt at any point.
Okay.
Right, but it will help get a little bit to the more full understanding of what are the visitors up to, what is their agenda.
Oh, we're going to hear what the aliens are up to. Great.
It'll also include the information you said, what about Stargates and what are the status of those? It will show where that is.
Right.
And it's like the quickest sequence you can do, right? This has been, 10 years worth of work. Now we can look back and see what this is all about and see where it's going. So
I think it's all about your delusions,
put a
lady.
couple charts up. The first thing
No
I would
problem.
like to do, if we're going to talk about what is happening on the planet now, it does involve ascension, and ascension does involve stargates. But what is ascension anyway? There's a quick way to explain this, and it has to do with graphs. And I use graphs because seriously,
Isn't that interesting that Ismail Perez is selling people ascension courses, and his whole story is copied from this woman who's also selling people ascension?
pictures paint 1,000 words. If it hadn't been, and all of these graphs are literally transmitted from the Guardian Alliance, and I take them down by hand.
These graphs are transmitted by the aliens from the Guardian Alliance. Okay, just so we're clear.
And because I don't have computer art skills, so they've all been done in black and white form, and then thanks to a team of volunteers, they put a lot of work into putting them into computer, finishing, so they're decent. Most of them are. You can tell the ones that are still the ones I did on a photocopier, with a photocopier. But this particular diagram, and also I will qualify these by saying
She's got hand-drawn slop from the aliens.
One out of, there might have been 50 diagrams in that series explaining every piece of how that worked, what it is, the structure of it, and all of this. I'm just going to show certain diagrams that will show structure, because structure is important. Science here is getting into quantum physics and all of those things, and maybe there's dark matter and all these
real science.
There is a whole order of these things. Yes, there's dark matter. Yes, quantum physics are real, but they have no idea the structures that are involved.
Why would they contact this crazy lady and not some government official?
Some of these
Good
things,
question.
you don't understand what ascension is. You need to understand what context is happening in, and that's why the Guardians gave us the context in the first place.
Oh,
in the
good to
early
know.
days, they taught us about 15-dimensional physics, and that's not
15-dimensional physics. What?
Dimensions run in sets of 15. And there are many, many, many different sets of 15-dimensional matrices that have particular
Dimensional matrices? What?
Galaxies, universes, cosmoses, plural. It is a multi-cosmos, not just a multiverse. Now, when you think of ascension and stargates,
Does anybody remember there was a song and the lyrics went something like, choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep? This woman strikes me like that. Like, let's talk about the nature of reality. Like, bitch, I just met you. We want to thank Charles McDonald, the MVP of gifting Truth Seekers memberships. And this, my friends, is why I keep saying it. I'm shouting it from the rooftops. Smash that subscribe button if you have not already. Hit the subscribe button. Become a subscriber, because when a kind and generous friend here, like Charles McDonald, gifts some free memberships, you could win one. But in order to be eligible to win a free membership when somebody like Charles McDonald gifts them, you must be a subscriber. And then YouTube randomly distributes these to people who are subscribers but not yet channel members. So thank you, Charles McDonald, for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Truth Seekers memberships. Very, very kind and generous of you. Charles McDonald, every time I see him in the live chat, he's helping us to praise the cash and expanding our YouTube channel memberships, and we appreciate him. Thanks for appreciating us, Charles McDonald, MVP. Everybody, if you got a free membership today so far, thank Charles McDonald. And if you didn't get a free membership, smash that subscribe button, because maybe some other people will feel generous like Charles McDonald and help our channel with these free memberships, and you could win one, but you must be a subscriber. So smash that subscribe button, friend. All right. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Pardon me. We've got Anime Chris with one for the goal. Does she have... Oh, thank you. And Chris is a longtime show supporter and channel member, says, does she have unlimited minutes with her cellular memory? Or does it have to be reloaded every time she forgets to take her meds? Good point. I really don't know the answer to that.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
I told you we were going to get wacky today. Thank you, Anime Chris. Big show support from Anime Chris, Charles McDonald, and everybody else tonight. Thank you for your kindness. I wonder if Dark Journalists have seen these new age heroes are actually like Wilcox. Yeah, well, some people have selective skepticism. That's what I call it, where they're skeptical of the really big frauds, but they still entertain the small frauds. Some of his research is very good. Other stuff, I don't know. I get lost on some of his, like all the Atlantis and what, I don't know.
You ascend through. It implies there is an order of stargates within these greater structures. So I will show you.
Yeah, people need to pay her
where the diagrams came from.
to learn about stargates.
You say you're getting this sort of a data stream electronically. And when you say that, I am assuming that you're visualizing, maybe you're getting a visualization.
I just see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how do you transfer them onto the paper?
She's seeing things.
You draw them.
Kind of like a lunatic.
Okay.
I'm known as the whiteout queen. Because a lot of times they'll come down like one diagram like this.
Yeah, we covered those
it's all
clowns.
like, looks like a single thing. There'll
Very
be like
intricate.
6 different images on it.
Wow.
And like 20 different.
She banned her husband from her own scam.
The whole big
Yes.
thing comes down in one data stream that it might take.
Look, and her
6 hours
husband's
to
like her
focus
handler.
on
He's
that
helping
one,
her put
getting
up
it all
the
down.
shit.
And
Like,
that's even without the words and labels and arrows and stuff. That's just
Okay.
getting the shape.
could you imagine having to listen to this bitch
right?
talk like this
Where
all
on
the
the
time
photocopy
just to get some
and white out
pussy?
that
Oh,
one, and you get
man.
that one, white
Poor
out this
guy.
one, then you have that one,
Well,
and
they're
you might
divorced
have,
now.
like, a
Good for
series of
him.
10 of them out of the one that came in. So it's almost like what do they call those files where they condense everything? Zip file, yeah. So it comes in like a zip file, and when it opens, there's a lot of heat involved. Actually, you can feel the DNA activation. It comes through, the chakras activate, and there's like this heat field around me when it's coming.
There's no such thing as DNA activation.
Through, or sometimes depending on the line, because there's different lines, different ones, different levels of the Guardian Alliance communicate, from different places.
That's her OnlyFans handle.
Like Shiver,
Yeah,
some of them.
look at her, dude. She don't look
So
good. I
you
don't think she
carry-
make much money on
so that's where
OnlyFans.
the
Maybe
coming from.
feet.
And at this point,
There's
there are
feet
thousands
weirdos,
there
like
are
the feet
thousands of
pics.
intricate diagrams that
Fabulous.
come
Okay.
this
Yeah,
way.
that's great.
All right.
Oh.
This one, for instance, this is
Well,
part of a
even
huge
death is
series.
preferable to living with
And
this
is like a
crazy
very
bitch,
simple one, as
Ambergeddon.
you'll
So
see
maybe that
in-
was a
in
small
later
mercy
ones
from
that
God.
grows. If we can think of this, I wanted to use this as a very simple way to explain.
Yes, I did.
what
Yeah,
ascension
I did.
is.
Thank you, Miller
Ascension
Man.
is about evolution. It's actually about re-evolution. The Guardians refer to it as re-evolutionary determinism. Yes, there is a predetermined framework of evolution within which
Sounds like hell to me.
Occurs.
Just
but
what
it has
kind of a
free
hell
will
would it be
within
just
that
having to
framework.
listen to these
And you
bitches
start out as
all
part
the
of
time
whole. They
for
refer to it as
eternity?
the God source consciousness field. And from this
She's
place,
gonna tell me how
you
to
can
access
enter
the
into
Akashic records or
material
what?
experience that is all taking place within that God source consciousness field. There is
Yeah,
no
that's
place
weird.
outside of God. All of this takes place within the body of the consciousness of God source. They consider the structures in which and through which matter materializes and forms and identities individuate. They consider that part of the manifest body of God source. And they're talking about the cosmos as being the manifest body. And there is a field of just pure cognition that is beyond that. It is eternal. It is always aware. Time as we know it in linear form is just not a reality there, but it's...
Do you ever notice that they can't stay in a lane? Like, it's one thing to claim that you're in contact with aliens, right? But then you got to be able to also mix in that the whole nature of God too. And wow. Troll with one for the goal. Yes, it rhymes. Troll, long-time show supporter. Our longest-time show supporter says, I think Linda Moulton Howe's documentary about revealing secrets of alien bases in Antarctica would be a good topic. I agree. Maybe we'll do that sometime, but I have to actually pay her for that. It's so bad. It's, There's no real other way to get it, if you know what I mean. Trolly troll troll. But we've already kind of covered. She uses fake Navy SEALs in her stories. They give one of them gives a rank. He claims he was a Navy SEAL, and he gives a rank that's not even a Navy rank. That might be your first clue that he's not a Navy SEAL. But thank you, Trolly troll troll, for the support, and we'll put it in the to-do list.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Ready for the Akashi Epstein files. That's right. Alien bases in Antarctica. Sign me up. Yeah, everybody. All right, we'll do it. All of these wackadoos have the same speech pattern, and they just ramble forever. Amber Gedden almost fell for this shit. Amber Gedden says, I'm embarrassed to say I started to fall for this rabbit hole and pulled myself out quickly, not soon after I found this channel. Well, there you go. Good. Let's get back to the crazy bitch.
Understood as an experiential quality within the framework of materialization. So in that context of understanding a little bit about how we look at God and the concept of God, yes, there is one. It's not some big father dude on with a big white beard that's going to send you to hell.
And please pardon me if I'm coughing and hacking. I just realized I've been taking like over-the-counter cold pills, and I forgot to take them before tonight's broadcast. So I might be extra snotty tonight. Awesome.
All right. There is structure involved in this. Now we went through what is called Partakai creation, which takes it from the first unit of consciousness in the consciousness field of God.
Partakai creation. Is everybody taking notes? What the fuck? What is Partakai creation? Do they just make up words? I think they do.
That did something and went under certain changes. From those changes, that shape grew and literally created the spherical wheels within wheels, or spheres within spheres. That is the hidden structure behind all cosmic order, and even galactic order, planetary order, and your own body's order and atom.
Yeah, she's got a pointer and everything. She's official.
Order. So this, if you think of it as just an example of a cosmos, all right, you have a center point, right? And you have a sphere. Where you see circles are actually spheres of energy. All right, you have.
I'm sorry, but that picture just looks like the random doodlings of a schizophrenic crazy person, or is it just me?
One sphere, two sphere, and a third one in the center. It's smaller ones, and then lots of these little ones in the center. What this is showing us is conscious.
She probably ripped this off of Ezekiel's wheel. Is anybody familiar with Ezekiel's wheel? Looks very much like that. There's also some depictions of angels that look very much like this drawing, I suppose.
Consciousness comes out from the center point into this dome. It's called
I'm waiting for her to make sense too.
Body.
Not my rabbit hole is here. It looks made up.
Into the two
Terry, why always punching down, Terry? I was going to message you, but since you're here, I'll just bust your balls live on my show. Terry gets in these big epic fights with assholes on YouTube that get 100 views a video, or a couple hundred views a video. And even though she does great work exposing some of them as total scammers, it's like, who cares? It's a guy getting 100 views, man. You gotta punch up. You gotta punch up. Yeah. Ezekiel's wheel from the Book of Enoch. Yeah. All right, let's continue with the crazy.
And they individuate into sets, and this all happens at the same time, right? Expands outward. These are called, when it expands outward, it's called Ikashi.
You know, I'm sorry to say, but I bet you back in the day when I was a lot younger and stupider, I would have liked listening to this while I was smoking, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, tell me about the nature of the universe and the aliens, bitch. She does sound like nonsense. She sounds like total nonsense. I can't make sense of any of this so far.
Expansion cycle.
Maybe if I was smoking pot, it would, like canvas, right? It would make more sense. I don't know.
Where consciousness is coming out from the God source consciousness field into the smaller form or structure of materialization and expands out through these cycles simultaneously.
Kashi is my favorite cereal.
This particular line is referred
Never.
to as a vector.
He's a convicted pimp, fake scientist. Fuck Bob Lazar.
One end of it is referred to as an event horizon. So one time vector has two event horizons.
I think we'll just do this.
Here you have a core. Here you have an inner. Here you have a middle. And here you have an outer domain. on each side. Reality fields take place within all of those. So it's not just that there are reality fields. You have ones in the outer bands, you have ones in the middle, inner, and core bands. The process of coming into existence is expanding out through experiential cycles within the Akashic expansion cycle to get to this point. When you get to this point, and you see in this next graph, these are actually time cycles with names. They're called yugas. And when you get to this, which is called the Kali Yuga, there are several options. And one of the options, which is the natural evolutionary process, which is ascension. That is the natural process by which eternal life beings, and most everybody started as
it looks that way. It looks like a dartboard. Yeah.
Actually undergo after you expand out, get through the incarnational cycles.
Who would have thought? And all the secrets of reality and the universe can be shown on a dartboard. Great.
You would go through what is called a Christ star turnaround. All right. Where you enter these little cycles behind. They're called the Adashi return cycles.
Adashi return cycles. All right. This bitch is just making up stuff. What does Adashi mean? There's no word Adashi in the English language. She's just making up shit.
When you expand out at this point, if you were able to make this Christ star turnaround, your atoms will actually transfigure into eternal life light atoms. And at that point, whatever form you have there becomes an eternal form that you can materialize and materialize it will. You become what's called an Adashi adept. And some people call them ascended masters, but that term is terribly abused on this planet, so the Guardians do not like to use it. But the Adashi adepts are the ones who have made it through that journey, and they are now what are called Ashayana individuals, which means
they seem a little crazy. Yeah,
manifest, demanifest at will.
Adashi and Akashi are serial brands.
They can actually rebirth as collectives, like as sons. And those kind of things. It's an amazing process where a being that, say, is a small human being can actually.
I can't make any sense of this bitch.
To go back into the state of even being like a son.
So many words, and so little meaning.
It is an eternal process. There is no death involved in that process. That is the natural process.
What is this bitch even saying?
So when we're talking about ascension, it is about doing the natural re-evolutionary process, but that is not happening on this planet. When we get to this point of the Kali Yuga expansion, there are other things that can happen too. There are certain qualities about the science of ascension that are very, very much about physics.
I don't know.
Right, and there are consequences in physics if things.
Now she's going to teach us physics. This bitch.
Body.
She's talking to the aliens.
Animals who live on it and plants who live on it.
She's getting downloads and channeling shit. Now she's going to tell us about
the DNA does not function properly. The body will not produce the chemicals, and a particular one called celestylene that is required in order to allow the atoms to merge with their antiparticles without annihilating. That allows particle and antiparticle to come together.
Anukazi light language. What?
Spin,
this bitch is crazy.
Turn into a radiation wave, and that's what it means actually to go into full Merkaba and be able to go through gates. That is the process by which you go through stargates. So.
Oh, now we're getting to the stargates. Somebody's been watching Stargate SG-1 again.
If we talk about ascension, it is the natural process.
You know, it's absolutely ridiculous how many of these assholes rip off Stargate SG-1 and stories from Stargate SG-1 or the movie Stargate.
Process of being able to expand out. We were out in the Kali Yuga cycles. Finally, we're out here. Now we have choices.
Redefining the ascension deception.
Or
call it a grift. Yes.
There's another path that we can.
We're celestering.
The Kali Rama path. It is
when the camera's off, she yells and screams and smokes.
The stage before, and then have to rebirth out again into the cycles in the outer domain and do. It's almost like a restart. Do it over again. So hopefully you fulfill all your ascension codes. It's what it's about. It's about activating your atom to the point.
Imagine her on meth.
And if you can do it,
I don't think we have to imagine. This bitch is tweaking out. Aliens, Stargates, physics.
That is the path of
the nature of reality.
Stuck here. You can't step back and you can't go forward because of the choices you are making in your life that are affecting directly what your DNA can do and what consciousness you're aligning yourself with affects the frequency that your body is able to carry. And if you get stuck here, you will reincarnate in this cycle until the quantum you came in with burns out. And
I'm very disappointed because normally Kerry interjects herself more into the interviews. Like, oh, you went through a Stargate? Well, let me tell you about my Stargate experience. Like, no matter what somebody says, usually Kerry has a one-up story, to interject. But maybe she's having once in a while, I do an interview where somebody's a big talker and I just let him go and I have an easy show. Maybe that's what she's doing. This is an easy interview. Just wind this crazy bitch up and let her go.
And then you will do what is called a space dust return, where
Space dust return.
ashes to ashes, dust to dust, you will come to a point where you don't have enough energy to reincarnate into another body, into another time cycle. And you will eventually simply just go back. And eventually everybody goes back. But if you go back in ascension, you go back whole. If you go back
What
and
point
step
ever
back,
again? Yeah.
you can come back out and go back whole. But if you do the fall path, you do go back eventually as
Solar
space
flash
dust.
factor.
Your body
It's
dies,
coming.
and your consciousness can no longer hold together, and it fragments and just becomes part of the local environment. But the local environment at times goes through
What
natural
mental
cycles.
institution
It
did
has to
she
do with
escape?
Stargate cycles and ascension cycles, where all these little time tracks pull in together and then come back out again. At that point,
She's in
anything
awe of
that's
the
stuck out
grift.
here gets drawn back into the center. So this is why God's source doesn't look at it as losing anyone in the fall path. It's the experience of you
American
losing your
Freedom
connection with
Radio.
the universe
Holy, I
that it's
remember
really
that.
about. So to get to understanding stargates and everything, I wanted to explain on this simple diagram about the cycles that we are in. Because right now we are in that Kali Yuga cycle. And those three choices are facing us
Kali
very
Yuga
much now.
cycle.
And more than they might usually.
I think she's on a med cycle. Like she needs some lithium or something. She needs some fucking psychiatric meds, this bitch.
Because this planet is in the middle of a drama that people here have forgotten, but they knew during the Atlantean periods. They knew 10,000 years
Blavatsky,
ago
crazy
what was
cat
happening
lady.
here,
Yes.
and we have forgotten that knowledge. So anyway, let's go to the next.
Yes,
slide.
we all turn into
I've
space
been here
dust.
for 6 years.
Have some respect.
No, that's actually
She is the official ambassador of the Galactic Guardians, and you will have some respect for her. At least that's what she said. I mean,
very helpful, and I think that was very clear. So
Sorry about the cough.
thank you. That's okay. No problem.
This next one is just a little bit it's similar to that one. Is showing the structure of that one a little more clearly. The reason I'm showing you this is just for down the bottom here. I'm not going to read them all or anything, but the detail level that we're giving. Each of these different states we've talked about.
it's just pictures of circles, bitch. What is this? It's just pictures of circles and circles. This looks like something my 10-year-old would draw. It's circles in circles in circles. It doesn't mean anything, lady.
The core and the inner, the middle, and the outer domains of reality, within which reality takes place, right? They each have a different state of matter, a different type of matter, a different density level of matter, and different states of consciousness that go with them. So I just wanted to point that out. So when we see this diagram, we're
It looks like Mysterio's helmet from Spider-Man comic books.
seeing the three, the Kalihara, it's called the Kalihara system, and we have the Hara bodies.
What the fuck is that
And
diagram? I know. I don't know. I don't.
Space-time structures within the Hara body. So these are large energy structures.
Wheels on the crazy
You don't even
bus
see
go
these.
round and
You don't-
round.
you're
Yes,
not walking
they
around the
do.
field counting your little balls, right? But they're there.
She's counting
Structure-
balls.
Cosmos is created with this structure, but it's much more complex. But when you see it, it implies structure, but also time and evolution. And that is
It looks
a good
like
way
a
to show
bullseye.
this
Could be.
ascension process,
Yeah.
where it is you expand out, you go through experiences in the time level
Youngie
through
and
the time
Laura.
matrix, and then come back in through the Adashi return cycles.
Welcome,
So the word
Youngie and
Adashi,
Laura.
for
I'm glad I
instance,
can
is
make you
something,
laugh.
is
I'm about to
special
cry.
for
I have to
our
listen to
father,
this
the
shit.
The path of Christ star
On
return.
purpose.
When I use the word Christ star, by the way, or any of the words like Christ or anything like that,
Cosmic
it's spelled
Con
with a
Shuffle.
K. It's either Krist, sometimes we use shorthand, or Kryst. There's a reason for that. It's not because we're basing everything on the Bible or anything like that. Nothing against the
Now
Bible.
she's
But
changing how you
it's
spell
spelled with a K because
Christ.
that's how it originally was. And what it refers to it's actually, there's 7 syllables to it. We often will just shorten it to 5.
Kalihari
It's,
system. Yes, of
The
course.
first
Is
7
anybody
audible
following
sound
any?
tones
Like,
of
I don't
creation.
know what the
And
fuck
they
this
are,
lady's talking about.
Karaya, sa, ta, ha, la. And we also often just shorten it to, Kaya, sa, ta, Christ, right?
Kaya Rastaka. She sounds like a mental patient. And like, believe me, I know. My mother was a paranoid schizophrenic, and every once in a while I had to go visit her in the nutbag bin. And there was always some woman like this would sit next to me, right? And start talking to me. Usually they talked about angels and demons, though, not aliens in my experience, but still.
So that's where we use the word Christ. It has to do with the sound tones, the vibrations, the first audible sound tones when we get into first particle.
Hindu Vedas?
Before all these
Maybe.
structures
I
occur
don't
in
know.
the cosmos,
They all mix
there's certain
everything
things happening
together.
on a very, very, very nano micro level.
Same kind of bath as Wilcock.
First, what would be audible sounds or audible vibrations?
Yes,
And
there's my
that
kick
that word, Chris.
for the kick only
That's where it's coming
stream
from. It's not saying
tomorrow
it's a
night.
system that's which means we're not this and we're not that and we're not the other thing. It's something that belongs to everyone and in every language. So anyway, that's just another version of showing the same structure.
Well, then I'm not an ascendant man. I don't know what I don't know what this woman is talking about. We're like 20 minutes in. I haven't understood a sentence that she said so far. This is fucking brutal.
And who's fighting over them? So the next diagram. This is called the Illumiradana spirit body. And the reason I'm going to show
some Hindu
the
stuff she's
spirit
throwing
body
in.
structure,
Okay.
This is a diagram that has many purposes, but if you remember that last diagram, this one is a bit more detailed.
Real
It
Einstein.
is still showing structure. This is a simplified, and each one of these pieces and flows and all of the different elements. Of
All right,
this
this
have
just
been
looks like a
analyzed.
snowflake.
There's
Come
like
on, man.
What it comes with is.
Do you ever
the
have one of those
structure that is
spiral
referred to
graph
as the
things you can
Illumiradana
make drawings
spirit
like
body,
this
which
out
is
of?
different than your light body structure, different than your atomic body structure.
It looks like a flower,
That
bitch.
structure. The cosmos.
Or a
has this too.
snowflake.
When you see these little petal things, these are actually flows of energy. Okay, nothing cosmic, right?
Cosmic
Inside of it,
energy.
You have those that the Hara ball structures. with the
I have
time
no
cycles
idea.
Moving in and out of this. But if you notice here, there are 12 points on this. There are 12 petals. Each one of those would have a line running down it.
It is all gibberish. This is
That
just
comes out the other
gibberish.
side, right? Each would be a vector line. So you're not just dealing with one.
Wait, my
vector.
spirit body
You
looks
have
like
two
a gay
vectors.
flower.
You're dealing
Snowflake.
with sets of
Why does my
sets of six
spirit
vectors
body
that form
look
12
like a
vector
gay
lines. And
snowflake?
there's more than that too, but that's the
Or
one
flower.
you see in this diagram. The spirit body structure
It's
is
a
built
friggin' Mandela.
on this particular structure. And
Yeah,
these
Mandela
flows
coloring
here,
book.
you have
That's where she
some of
got
the
it
outer
from.
flows that are
She's
called the
getting her
lotus flows.
diagrams from
So those are the
coloring
ones in the
books.
pink. And then these little things that you can see part of, they actually go all the way down.
Now
to
that
the
I
core,
failed
and
to
there's another
explain the
layer
first
here.
diagram, here's
These are
another
called,
one.
the core flows or the Navajo flows. The Navajo word has to do with a particular
Exactly. She just
part
sounds
of the creation
schizo,
cycle
Sherry.
that is the
Yeah.
first where the Partakai units, which are the first units of consciousness.
What the
that
fuck is a
materialize,
Partakai
are
unit?
actually born. It's a
I
word
better
that has to
stop
do with
cursing.
the Navajo cycles. So these are called the Navajo core flows. This has to do with
I can't.
stargates.
I'm going to
All right,
check in with the
next
Kip
one,
chat.
We'll show you these stargates. Now, if you take the circle away and the ball structures away, and just look at the flows here.
No,
Again, we
no
have those
money,
outer
no honey on Kip.
petals. We call them the lotus petals. We call this the living lotus.
Okay.
All right, and these are the natural core flows of an eternal life creation, which means
What does
energy
eternal
flows
life
out,
creation
but it also turns around and comes back. It just doesn't flow out and expand until it destroys itself and burns itself out. That's what science is watching happening to this universe because it's not functioning normally in our local galaxy. Anyway, stargates.
Could you imagine having to interview
These
this woman?
structures, these
Like I
flows.
would have.
Now, this applies to a cosmos. It applies.
I would have started yelling and screaming at this woman already. We're almost 30 minutes in. And I agree with the chatter who said, I haven't explained the first diagram. Here's another diagram. They just look like pictures that somebody would draw while they were high. Or am I wrong? It looks like fractals, right? You ever have a fractal program on a computer? It looks like fractal nonsense. It looks like geometric fractal nonsense, right? Yeah, you've been living life without the knowledge of the Navajo core flows, right? Whack-a-doodle-doo. That's right. Imagine having to interview her. Like, how long do you actually pay attention before you just nod and pretend you understand anything that she's saying?
A galaxy, it applies to a planet. The planet has a structure like this, and it applies to our bodies as individuals. It applies to atoms, actually. They have the little own structure of this. Each one of these core
Yeah, she usually interjects a lot more. She can't get a word in edgewise. This girl's like a meth head. She's tweaking. She's talking real fast.
They are literally points on the planet that interface with these energy flow systems that connect into core.
Yeah, she didn't even color it. If you're going to steal diagrams from a coloring book, at least color it with some crayons, bitch.
Somewhere else. They are passageways.
So you're talking about 12 major stargates?
There are 12. They go in sets of 12. On this planet, there are a whole lot more because the main 12, which are called the Halls of Amente stargates,
The halls of Amente Stargates. I'm convinced she's just making up words. They're called the Stargates on Earth are called the halls of Amente Stargates. What does that even mean? Halls of Amente.
Fell under the control of the service to self groups, let's put it that we call them the FAs, fallen angelics, right? That's what we refer to them as.
FAs, fallen angelics. Now it's getting good. Now we got some demon action mixed in with this crazy
gate systems that were put here by the Guardians a long time ago, because this isn't the first time that there's been gate wars on this planet. In fact, 2 seedings of the human race.
I doubt she's going to do that.
The same type of, they call them Templar wars, because they're fighting over the
Halls of Amente is Egypt
system on a planet or
all right, so we've mixed Egypt, Hinduism,
and that word refers to template pillars. That's what the Templar word means. That's, I mean,
now we got the Knights Templar,
I mean, these
Hinduism,
from the
ancient
old
Egyptians,
Atlantis. They had pieces of them.
Atlantis.
Anyway, when we're talking about Stargates or Ascension, in Ascension, the process of
I think she's still explaining.
I
don't know.
The eternal life cycle.
This is crazy overload. This is wackadoo overload. It's too much.
Now that's great.
The halls of mental support. Yes.
Templar is messed up, you're going to have a problem.
Really?
Stuck on the planet.
I never heard that term before.
Whatever distortion is in the planet. That's why people right now die on this planet and don't ascend instead. Death is not a natural condition. It occurs on planets that have a distortion in their Stargate structure, where the natural flows are not occurring, which creates distortions in the biological forms on the planet.
She's saying that death is not a natural occurrence. Death is not a natural. The only reason you die is because there's some distortion in the star field. Oh man, dude, I really should have listened to this more. Like, this is just too much, even to make fun of. Like, I feel like this woman needs a rubber room. Like, she needs some serious psychiatric medication, a rubber room, and some counseling. And imagine that she's married at the point this interview took. What if this was your wife? Would you be like, bitch, you need a psychiatrist? You're crazy, bitch.
So we have been locked into this planet. This has been a prison planet for at least 13,000 years. And actually, well, further back than that, but there were little bits of times where the gates were working properly. This is the first time. Why everything's coming to a head right now.
This is glue-sniffing talk.
Known in 22,
yes.
26 BC.
This is glue-sniffing talk. Talk like a glue sniffer.
One failed. That this would be the next one. They knew this time period would be the next one, because there's a specific time frame in which the gates open, and they stay open for a period of time, and then they close again. That's why it's all coming to a head.
So, but when you're saying the gates are going to open, you're talking about the 12 that have been taken over, so to speak. Those, I'm assuming, are not going to open.
Oh yeah, they're opening them.
They're going to be
and
open.
we're opening the others. The Guardians are opening the others.
Okay.
The aliens are opening the Stargates.
And open them.
Oh yeah, they open them into the black hole wormhole systems.
Oh, into an okay.
Yeah. Well, you can still use them, except it takes you into false systems.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
and that is
so
what is
there has
happening
to be alternate Stargates.
She's not making a lick of sense.
That is
I
what
know.
we've been helping the Guardians actually.
Don't cross the streams.
They need to be activated. They're very old, dormant systems, but they're rescue systems.
Okay.
And at this point, the reason why the Guardians are even speaking publicly.
I don't know. She looks like she's well into menopause to me. I don't know.
Because in, I think it was March 25th of 2007, something occurred in the solar system that just shut the program down. We are on the 200-year evac program, period. And that's it.
Evac program.
The gates are closing.
We have to evacuate Earth, friends. The aliens told us we have to evacuate Earth.
When you say something happened in the galaxy, can you explain a little more?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
some other diagrams for that one. Yeah. This is looking at one of those core flows, just its structure. And there's a pillar, a chamber inside of this. There's Merkaba.
A pine cone and a figure eight, bitch. This does not mean anything.
Right. This
is a pine cone figure eight.
Gates.
You
now,
crazy
the other
bitch.
ones that aren't shown on here that look like the lotus petals, they're usually the flows that when a stellar activation cycle happens.
It's the first time she's been right. Something did occur in 2007.
Level up, or even 2 densities up. They'll give you vertical ascension, but not diagonal or going back in.
If it opens into a black hole, you die. Why would you want
to? But you can still ascend through them.
Not more diagrams.
And the only time they open these is if they are seeding a new race on the planet, or if they are evacuating a race on the planet. And these core gates are opening on the planet because this is an evacuation. We have a 200-year warning because something happened with the sun that it's not going to be.
It's like David Wilcox slides. They don't make any sense.
About 2976.
They're just there to reinforce whatever shit they're talking about.
They said we're in a timeline, and we're stuck in a timeline.
Alien grifters and visual aid.
That if we didn't make certain changes with the stellar activation cycle and reach a certain level, we were going to get dragged into a probability alignment in which the planet literally exploded because
bars are close behind her white coats
that were occurring with the Zetas and different
thinks they do places. I don't know,
and that is a probability line we got stuck in. And
the whole
we are on an evac order, and that's why we're speaking about it publicly. There are things we can do. It's not like, the world is ending. No, in fact, this is really good because what could have happened in 2012 isn't going to. But there's certain ones that really want these things to happen, and I will talk about those a little bit in a little while. But this is the core gate structure.
Make it stop.
It's very detailed. I just really
Sherry.
To read every little to let you know and to let the public know that they are there, and the sophistication of this material.
You ever go to sleep with a YouTube video on, and then for whatever reason a video like this comes on that's just total batshit crazy rambling nonsense? That happens to me all the time. This is DSP tier rambling. It sure is. Nobody's talking about the Zetas anymore. Yes, she sells books on Amazon. She's been selling books on Amazon for a couple decades now. And they're very popular with the nut bags, right? Yes, Arlene says this chick is nuts. This 8 is amazing. It's a figure 8 with a pine cone in the center of the top part of the 8. I don't think that means anything. Looks like it's kind of a weird sex toy to me, though. Maybe. Did she make a diagram of a butt plug inside an 8? It looks like a butt plug inside a figure 8.
I mean, I'm not important. What's important is look at this material. It blows my mind. I look and the breadth of it. I mean, it covers everything from stargates to biology to cosmic structure to pre-Particuli physics. I mean, it's an amazing body of material. If this wasn't serious, they wouldn't have given us this information. So anyway,
if this wasn't serious, they wouldn't be giving us this info.
Core gates.
Yeah.
If you want to see how a core gate would sit on the planet to get an idea, this gives you an idea. That's just like a landscape painting behind it. It's actually a mural that I did.
All right, it's getting crazier. Now she's overlaying diagrams on top of diagrams. This is supposed to mean this looks like a VJ with a clit standing. Just saying. Yeah. It looks like a vagina. Look at the material of the amazing 8. Yes. Yes, it's a core gate. She says it's a core gate. It could be a dildo for the G-spot, Stephen. Yeah, it looks like I don't know, man. I don't know.
My wall in the house in Arizona we lived in. But it shows, right, here's the sky, and here's the land, and here's the subterranean levels below the land, and going down to the core. It shows how these gate flows work when they're open. And there would be 12 of these on the planet.
12 gate flows.
And when you would pass into, you wouldn't see this thing standing in the air. There would be a certain field, and only if your DNA was keyed to it, you know it was there.
Here, drop this acid.
Not activated to be in co-resonant energy form with that structure. You'd walk right through it, past it, not even know it was there, and you'd still be in the same place. But if you have certain things activated in the body, in the DNA,
she's going to go there.
In the light body, in the spirit body structure, etc., in your anatomy, you would be able to see it. Mm-hmm. And you would know where to stand in it, and you would know what to do and how to breathe, and you could use it and go in ascension.
Okay, so the 12 stargates that we're talking about, which have been interfered with, let's say, they're located at certain places on the planet.
Yep.
The outer ones are the ones that fell.
These diagrams get more and more ridiculous and stupid.
So those are the ones that are, you say, ancient.
I don't know.
That are being reactivated, as you call it. Okay, and those are also located at certain places,
and in different places.
Different places.
Yep. The outer one surface at in one set of 12 places.
So there will be a lot of misdirects. I'm thinking And
Yeah,
there are
somehow
a
she
lot of
thinks the
missteps
diagrams
going
makes
on the
this
planet
shit
right
make
now,
sense.
to where certain people are directing people to focus on certain areas of the planet which contain these stargates, thinking that they are, ascension stargates, when in fact they are.
I don't
taking
think
them
so,
to
Ray
another
Gunner.
place.
Yes.
It's not so good.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. What
But
they are being guided to.
how crazy is it that a whole bunch of different super soldiers and fake super soldiers and fake secret space people are copying this lady's material? Like, who listens to this and said, this sounds great, I'm just going to change it a little bit and incorporate it into my scam? Is it like, do they have like an inability to come up with their own quantum word salad nonsense, right? Bring on the space arcs. That's coming, right? Yeah, what happened to Crazy Kerry? I need some pushback. She's just lapping up the crazy here.
False stargates. So they're not called stargates, they're called wormholes. And wormholes lead to black hole systems that are finite life systems. And right now they are feeding.
Wormholes and black holes are two totally different things. You don't I'm not even going to try to explain actual science to this. This is just pseudoscience drivel nonsense gobbledygook.
On our living system and killing it,
You
basically.
got whole books full of this shit. Pay money for it.
The Navajo core gates are being opened, because we didn't stand a chance in this one. There was planned by, let's just say, the Native
I thought she was nuts, but now that she has a diagram, I'm all in. As Al Garay
launched on this planet, they were before the humans were on it.
Yes, more stargates. Yes, of course.
This was going to be the 6th extinction, and it was scheduled for 2012. And because of what the Guardians are doing, that is not going to happen. We're not fighting with anyone. We're standing. We're standing in the frequency of the Christ, and we were being taught Masters Templar mechanics to be able to assist them or the ground crew. Just like on the other side, you have what we call the Metatronic crew that are working the Atlantean Death Star Merkaba stuff.
What?
That is what runs the...
What? Metatron is working the Atlantic Death Star. The Atlantis Death Star. I'm going to say that again. Metatron, who's an angel, is working the Atlantis Death Star. What is an Atlantis Death Star? I don't know. Humboldt Honey with 1 for the goal. The support has kind of... I shot myself in the foot. The support has dried up, Humboldt Honey, but thank you for providing some. Everybody in the live chat is just like, what is this bitch saying? They use timelines for when their grift fails. They got a backup. Oops, we must be in a new timeline. Exactly. Many of them do this, Humboldt Honey. And thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Big support from Humboldt Honey, who is also a YouTube channel member and frequent contributor and supporter. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Thank you, Humboldt Honey, and all of our supporters. Yeah, I should have picked a better interview. This is just too much. Like, this is too much even for me. Because I want to make fun of this lady, but then I'm like, man, this bitch is truly crazy. Like, this is some... Like, sit her down in front of a psychiatrist and let her try to explain this shit all to a psychiatrist. Well, I'm the emissary of the Galactic Guardians, and they told me the true nature of reality, and I'm going to explain it to you with my diagrams, which look like they were drawn by a child, right?
There's a whole bunch of people running around thinking they're doing ascension that aren't. And that is what is heartbreaking.
Yes.
When I started to go public with the Guardian teachings, like, oh, great, it's going to be great, and the New Age movement, and everybody, we're going to love each other. Oh, my God. I ended up like the black sheep in the New Age movement.
You're right.
Because we exposed the teachings of Thoth. Not many of the people here. We exposed the records. Thoth broke the Emerald Covenant way back in the Atlantean period, stole one of the CDD plates, took the knowledge from it.
What is a CDD plate, Amber Geddon? What the hell is... Wait a minute.
That were the Death Star.
This is Amber Geddon's... It's Amber Geddon's fault that I have to listen to this shit. What is a CDD plate? She just says these terms like everybody knows what she's talking about. Thoth stole a CDD plate and violated the Emerald fucking. Oh my god. It's part of the lower dimension. She's getting her second wind now. She's ramping up. Is it going to get crazier? It might get. This might get crazier. Yes.
He helped in the takeover, and he still is, because that being is still in existence. He pops back and forth. He can travel through time in his little Death Star.
Yeah, even crazy Kerry Cassidy's getting overwhelmed by the craziness.
So when it was
the Emerald Covenant
as the
trademark
information, because I was thinking, oh great, we're all gonna love each other, and
CD plate,
Ascension time.
DVD plate. Yes,
it didn't work that way because nobody wanted to hear it. It's too bad. At least there was
somebody.
That wanted to hear
there
it.
Is somebody. What is Joseph P. Farrell has books called the Gaza Death Star. So that's not far off of the Atlantis Death Star, right? Joseph Farrell claims that the pyramid, the ancient pyramids, the Great Pyramid was a weapon, an ancient weapon or something like that. And of course, I'm paraphrasing. I don't really know. He's been he was supposed to be a guest here to talk about the Nazi bell, but then he didn't. And I think maybe he thought I was going to be rude to him or something. Even Amber Geddon, who brought us this crazy bitch, one of the people who brought us this crazy bitch, I don't have any idea. This is what she claims the Guardian Alliance gave her the information on. A CDD plate. Google Ashtar Sharon. What? Spooky, what the hell is Ashtar Sharon? Second wind. Winter Soldier is here. Now it's a party. Welcome, Winter Soldier.
Into workshops. And the thing is, we asked the people that were teaching the other stuff nicely. So why don't we just have a public discussion about it? Seriously, we'll each put up half of a room cost and, invite free to the public. And just let's discuss the topics, the issues. They wouldn't. But what they started to do was blackball me behind my back at the workshops, tell people to be afraid of me.
Yeah, Macario Mend. He sent me the video.
That way, we have more Merkaba mechanics than they could dream about.
See, this is what happened. We mentioned that this Ismael Perez stole most of his story from her books, this woman, Ashayana Deane. And several people, it's not just a few I mentioned, a bunch of you guys were like, oh, you got to listen to that bitch. That bitch is totally batshit crazy. So, of course, I'm like, let's do a show on it, right? Gaza Death Star, yes. The Gaza Death Star. I don't know. We're 38 minutes in. How long are we going to go? I'll try to make it to an hour.
Touch the stuff with a 10-foot pole. That's why they wouldn't even take on the challenge of, come, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the history. That's, yeah. You can say, well, it's this or that, but.
Imagine that people didn't want to waste their time talking to her about this nonsense.
These mechanics are indisputable because they don't have the things that link them together. The Guardians showed us all of these different things, sacred geometry.
I doubt she can confirm that, yeah.
What is of that? What does it mean? How does it connect?
Maybe she's Ismael Perez's mom,
in
yeah.
order to show how it's supposed to work. And then they show where the distortions they're teaching fit and what they do to pervert it. So it's been very intense.
I used to know a guy in my neighborhood that smoked meth, like, a lot. And he used to come to me and say crazy shit like this lady. But it was more like, I guess, like, almost Q-tard conspiracy. It was always government conspiracies. Like, Stephen, they're covering up. Fort Knox has no gold. And he would just go on for like an hour. And he's one of those people that when you see him, you're like, oh, no. And then he would kind of corner you and try to talk to you. And you'd be trying to get away from him the whole time. That's the vibes I get from this woman. Like, just some crazy meth head that won't shut up that you're just trying to get away from.
Oh, with the work, and it hasn't changed. But there's a group of us that just resonate with this and go, wow. Yeah, just wow. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, maybe she's his star mother. Yes.
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm here. And, I'm aware of the distortions out there. I'm aware of the attacks and so on and so forth. And again, I have to say,
the birds aren't real. Yeah, and he would be saying shit like that.
They need to use their heart and their intelligence to discern what resonates. And we're presenting this as what resonates, I'm going to say personally with me, but also with what I think people need to be aware of, and then they make their own decision. We've got plenty of the other side of information out there, and I think it's time that we hear from this side. And so, you know, I really want
Good
to thank
discernment,
you
yeah.
for making this opportunity possible. I do want to say that there are a lot of people out there that are following the wrong path. And if there's a way that you can also talk about the distinctions so that they can be aware, like if you get this, you might want to question more the path you're on. In other words, certain things will come to the fore during meditation.
Mhm.
Certain things will come to the fore.
Oh,
even in their
George
everyday
Van
life,
Tassel,
where they're getting a
a
lot
Pleiadian
of
commander of the Galactic Fleet.
interference on
That's who
certain
Ashtar
levels and so on
Sharon
and so
is.
forth,
Okay.
that can indicate that they are being tapped into by service to self ETs. And if you have that and you want to sort of share that, we don't have to do it now because that would be maybe off the topic a little bit here, but later on.
Probably come in that if we can move a bit with the sequence. The reason why the Guardians gave this sequence was because it's an easy way to touch a whole bunch of the bases, give a rounded picture that go right into, you know, answering the question.
The aliens wrote out all her answers so that she could explain this the best way. This is the best way that aliens with super advanced technology could explain this nonsense through their human vessel.
That you want
Okay.
answered.
Okay.
So if you want to go off the sequence, it's okay. But I
No,
think
let's go
Yeah,
with
she
this.
gained a
And,
lot of weight
also,
since then.
just one other thing that you're saying that we got this information.
You're on the wrong
and you're talking
path. Buy
about
my book. Bye,
yourself,
bye,
and
bye.
You're talking about other members of your group also getting this information.
some of us do.
Okay.
Yeah, we all have a kind of special relationship, our own.
Yeah,
special
Bill
relationship.
Wood.
I have the translator's contract.
Fake
which
Navy
means
SEAL.
I'm the.
He was the
secretary.
child predator.
I take down
He
the
was
writing.
court-martialed
But
for being a
Well,
child
even,
artist.
The other speakers have a rapport also with the
Okay.
Guardians, and a number of people in the groups have developed a rapport with them as well. In fact, we work with them to help them do that. That's what the Guardians would like.
So here she's basically saying, if you become a member of my group, you'll interact with the aliens too. This is where it gets real scammy. You want to talk to aliens? Know your true soul, starseed purpose? You got to buy my shit and be a member of my group. Miller Man has just become a YouTube channel member. Let's go. Let's get 5 more members tonight. And as I always say, if you become a YouTube channel member during the live broadcast, we give you a big shout out and thank you. So big thank you and big shout out to Miller Man, who is the newest Truth Seekers YouTube channel member. He gets a member badge. He gets access to our members only section. I think there's like 80 videos in there and more benefits. So thank you, Miller Man 1, who's been a show supporter here. And I think a longtime viewer. So I'm glad to see you converting to membership. Welcome to my cult, Miller Man. I'm not promising you aliens, though. You just get some videos and shit. But praise the cash, Miller Man.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right. Yes, and aliens are real. Just another Stephen is sharing our website, which I always forget to promote, but I have to pay for it in the next couple of days, which is hundreds of dollars a year we pay for that website for some reason. I don't know. I should have just did it myself, but I'm too busy. Anyway, truthseekershow.com. You can get all the latest episodes of Truth Seekers, whether you want the audio podcast version or the full video version. All the latest episodes are there. Just note that the audio podcast is usually a little bit behind, but for once, we're all caught up as of today, except for the episode that we are recording live right now. But thank you, aliens are real. And thanks to all you supporters, we were able to upgrade our streaming software. So we're now streaming to 6 locations at once, 2 Facebook pages, YouTube, Twitch. I don't know why we broadcast on Twitch. We get 3 live viewers. X, and also Kick, which is my favorite alt streaming platform.
Is to start communicating where they can start teaching people directly, because we're like a little bottleneck on the information. It's only given through the workshops and that kind of thing. Yeah. So I talk about it as we, not that I'm a plural, but that there's a bunch of people that are interacting with the Guardians directly.
There's a bunch of people in our cult that are interacting with the Guardian aliens directly. What does that mean? That they all have a shared delusion? I don't know what that means.
I'll just go really quick on these, and I guess there's another point I want to get to that we can pop through these, but I want to bring something up that's very important. As far
Cult
as
of
telling the
Cash.
difference between some of the teachings too. This in general is just showing basic Stargate structure, like how they work. when you have the core gates we saw before. These are what happen when you have those other flows that happen.
Wow.
Those pedal flows.
Just
When you
incredible
have a steady area,
diagrams
you have two
here.
vortices of energy, one electrical, one magnetic, and when they activate in the center, they come together, and one goes down, one goes up.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those other alt streaming platforms that I had high hopes for. There was also Odyssey for a time that I had high hopes for. But the problem with most startup or new alt streaming platforms is there's no money. There hasn't been money there. Like, I guess Pilled, we made a little bit of money, but that's only because the people who created Pilled gave me a bunch of money to get me to go start streaming there. And then I never made any more money. So it was like I streamed there for a year and I made $100 or something like that. But I wish them the best. I thought it was a good idea. Maybe I'll check back in with them because we still have 2 streaming. I think we can stream to 2 more locations, and I'm going to try Rumble again, even though after uploading and doing thousands of live streams there, I've only made $43 that I can't cash out. I think you got to hit $50 before they let you cash it out. I don't know. Rumble says there's $43 in there, but for the life of me, I can't figure out how to get my $43. And Pilled, I just lost interest because it was, I think Along Came Kick or some other place that we wanted to try. We only have so many streaming, that'll explain it. Amber Gedden with One for the Goal, who is a YouTube channel member and big show supporter, says, my apologies for you all and Stephen for suffering through this. Yeah. And if I scroll all the way back, Amber Gedden, to the beginning of the live chat, you were like, oh, this is going to be great. This isn't great. This is terrible. We're watching a crazy schizophrenic woman who's all over the place. She can't. These diagrams look like they were drawn by a child. Like, what are we doing? But we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Anyway, thank you, Amber. Yes, thank you very much, Amber Gedden. And Arlene says a lot of people dropped off of Pilled. I don't know if it's even still around. I haven't checked in with them forever, but we still have a channel there if they are still around. Is it Pilled.net? I think. Yeah, they're still there. I don't know. I'll have to check in with them later. Maybe we'll try there again. I mean, I had high hopes because the people who ran it came to me and they're like, well, you could come stream over here. There's no censorship and you can make a lot of money. And no, we didn't make a lot of money. We made a little bit of money. Better than Rumble. I've 1,000 videos uploaded there or live streams. We made $43 and I can't get it. Like, I'd like my $43, right? This will be Ismail Perez sooner or later. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be him sooner. Look at these excellent, more diagrams that mean absolutely nothing. She says this is how Stargate works.
By Becca Merkaba field. All right, and that Merkaba field is, what does it mean? Moving light body, Merkaba, right?
Merkaba field. It's a Merkaba field. What?
The Merkaba field is the field that actually, if it's around you, if it's a natural one that occurs around you, it's also occurring within you, and that is what allows your atoms to bond with their antiparticle and transmute and transfigure so they can go through gates. So this is basic Stargate structure as far as the Amente gates were structured on this structure.
The Amente gates?
There's more to that.
And the Merkaba field? It's just made up shit. These words aren't real. She's just making up words. Merkaba field. What is a Merkaba field?
Right, and this is when they come together.
I'm getting angry that I have to listen to this.
A Merkaba field that's just done with vortices. These get more.
A Merkaba field with vortices.
Actually,
what?
Like, 3-sided pyramids that move through each other. But I just wanted to see the basic structure.
Yeah, we'll have to do one of her latest interviews, right?
Fields, which are vortex fields, activate within them and also within your body and around your atoms and in your atoms. This thing here is something that I would like to point out. This is called
portals and stargates.
Light Sound 1, Kathara. It is literally the radiation template upon which everything in the eternal life systems are structured. It is the first creation template, and it has very, very specific proportions.
It's a dress
Some people say,
diagram
"Oh,
if
it's a
you're a
tree of life," but
seamstress.
actually,
It
if you
looks
look
that
at
way.
it isn't. It's
Yeah,
actually the tree
this
of
lady
eternal life.
sniffing glue.
When you see something that is
This is
different
how
than this,
people who sniff
say,
glue talk.
it has maybe 10 of these
Or sniff. You
centers
ever know
instead of
somebody
12,
that huffed
right? Instead of 12.
gasoline?
Or maybe it's longer and skinnier, or it doesn't have the lines in the same way. What that is a twisted radiation.
There's a guy near my
radiation
cabin that
template,
huffs gasoline.
and it's passed off as a tree
That's
of
sad.
life.
That gives you brain
in
damage,
certain
man.
teachings. It's
This
actually
lady
the tree of
sounds like she has
artificial
brain
life.
damage.
Goes with the what's called the Death Star, Atlantean Merkaba mechanics, Metatronic mechanics.
Metatronic mechanics.
Of what is
what kind of word salad quantum bullshito is this? Wait, we gotta back it up. Mechatronic. What does she say? Mechatronic Death Star. What?
Different than this. Say it has maybe 10 of these centers instead of 12, right? This has 12. Or maybe it's longer and skinnier, or it doesn't have the lines in the
Kabbalah,
same way.
yeah.
What that is a twisted
The one diagram on
radiation
the right.
template.
Yeah.
And it's passed off as a tree of life. In certain teachings, it's actually the tree of artificial
She's
life.
been huffing paint.
Goes with
Yeah.
the what's called the Death Star, Atlantean Merkaba mechanics, Metatronic mechanics. This is the
Death Star Atlantean Mercatronic mechanics.
How
Yes.
important this is because literally, the
Are you
structure of
clear
the
on this?
Stargates, but all of those structures we saw a little bit of with the
Death Star
separate the
Atlantean
spheres, right? Wherever you see a sphere, it implies we call these the bones. You have the bones and the balls. The bones are the radiation template that is built on Cathara grid. And Cathara grid will always have these proportions.
Yes,
very
that's why we're
specific
going to start
proportions in relation
broadcasting
to each
there as
other.
well.
And that is a living template. And with that template and the structures built upon it will be living.
The
Our
giggle
body
store
structure,
plan,
we have one that
yes.
runs through our body that right now is very mutated because of the, we'll see a little bit of that later. But we are moving to reactivate the natural imprint. So the Cathara grid I wanted you to see because it will help you understand the maps. You're going to understand Stargates and wonder where, okay, if I ascend, where am I going? Right? Seriously, if you're going to leave, where are you going? Do you even have a clue as to what the choices are? They've shown us where these maps go. This is the beginning of understanding maps. I'll just show you this really quick because this is showing, there's a sheet that talks about, I'm not going to talk about all the proportions right now because it's heavy detail, but this sheet explains about how this actually controls how particles interact with each other and all sorts of things from angular rotation, particle spin of particles in universes and that kind of thing. So
particle spin of particles inside universes.
So
Man,
when you
this
see
is
something using as a sacred geometry, this structure that is not built on those proportions.
Yeah, they always say they have it right and everybody else has it wrong.
Mechanics that have to do with wormholes and black holes.
I don't know if she believes this herself. If she does, she needs a rubber room.
The more this came out, the more horrified I was. I really was. I was like, oh my God, please, I don't want to have to talk about this, right? It was very hard. Now at this point, I have to have a sense of humor about it. Whereas, okay, so I am the pariah of the New Age movement, whatever. Somebody has got to let people know about this. That's why I still do, because it makes more sense than the other stuff that's being taught. And there's so much love in these teachings and in caring about people enough. Like, okay, so you might be mad at me because you like that paradigm over there. And I just don't mean to be a whistleblower, but if you're hurting yourself with that.
Oh, there's that word. She's a whistleblower.
Anyway, go back on this. Sorry. This is showing simply, remember that little Cathara grid structure, right? Well, here's one. Here's another. These cluster, all right? These are radiation templates that cluster to form very complex structures.
Right, now we're getting into radiation templates.
All right? One of these Cathara grid structures would hold 4 density levels of our local universe, all right?
That's interesting, Trace, man.
In the Milky Way. So that would be like our local universe. It actually includes Milky Way and Andromeda M31 galaxy, right? And
I only made $43 in 2 or 3 years of streaming there. I gave, but we're going to try again, I guess.
Field that goes with it.
Oh, and I missed
these are intricate structures that are formed from these templates. And where you see these structures, these are the bones again. You will have spheres.
I think I missed yours. I apologize. Thank you, Storm Crow, longtime show supporter. It says, keep grinding, Steven. Nothing is ever easy for me, Storm Crow. I'm the kind of guy, like, nothing comes easy for me. Whether it's the cabin stuff or streaming stuff. Yeah, we have to work so much harder than the grifters do. I mean, look at people like David Wilcock. He works 1 day a week. He makes $2,000 in super chats, you know? And what does it take him? 20 minutes to make slides and come up with some nonsense to talk about? Most of his show is just reading the live chat now. But thank you for your kindness, generosity, and long-term show support, continuing show support, I should say. Thank you, Stormcrow.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right, we're going to continue. What are we up to here? Oh, my God, man. 47 minutes. Jesus Christ.
Fears built upon them. So there are various levels. These are called the Vecca systems, and 4 Veccas come together, and at the center an Eka system forms.
What is a Vecca and an Eka?
Vecca systems form.
I'm telling you, she's just making shit up.
Akasha system. Then there's an Akasha A system and Akasha Aya system, and they all form this big cluster that's called the Katharista body. The
Katharista
is one.
The Katharista body. Are we getting all this?
Anatomy.
It's such nonsense. The interview doesn't even know how to question it. Exactly.
Cosmos that we were born into, and full ascension.
Catharia grids will be on the test. Yes.
Structure all of the frequencies involved with all of those spaces. So we're down here in the Vecca worlds. The next thing is we have to move up into the Eka, and then from the this is the long way to ascend. By the way, that's when the gates are working well.
Yeah, I don't know, Trey Smith. I have what I would call like an abandoned ship Rumble channel over there. He says the PayPal mafia head is trying to get me to pay them directly for views when all I wanted was my comment section not deleted. Tech bro overlord clowns ain't my friends. You know, Rumble is another one of those that I had high hopes for. Everybody that is dependent on YouTube has high hopes when they see an alt streaming platform. Odyssey is basically nowhere now. For a time, Odyssey was at least good, and so was Rumble at one thing, backing up your YouTube channel. But even both of those streaming platforms, I believe Odyssey and Rumble, stopped doing that because it was taking too much server space to give that guarantee. It was a good selling point, like, come over here, we'll copy your whole YouTube channel. But weird shit happened with my Rumble channel. Like, I would do the live stream there, and then they wouldn't put the live stream on the channel. No matter what I tried, tutorials, I don't know. But it's been a while. I'm hoping that technically it improved. I think it's $50 to cash out on Rumble for the streamer side. I heard App mention it had to hit $50 to cash out yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I've been at $43 for 2 years, though. I could show it to you. And I don't know how many. We probably have 500 videos there. So you mean to tell me that I gave this platform 500 videos? And by the way, they have ads plastered all over every few minutes of those videos. And I've only made $43 and I can't even get it until I make $7 more. But I've been waiting for the $7 more for 2 years now. Apparently, I haven't made $7 in ad revenue on Rumble for 2 years. I don't know, right? Yeah, let's just continue with the crazy.
So the normal way for ascension would be you would work.
I don't want this to turn into a Dark Side Phil boardroom meeting.
Densities. We're in density 1 here. We'd work up to density 4. Then we'd go to the Eka level, and you're growing and getting lighter, and your matter's less dense, and you're getting more control over it, and you're getting more consciousness. You know, more God consciousness and that kind of thing. And then you would work to the Akasha level.
Yeah, back when I was streaming there, you made actual money. You changed it to Bitcoin.
At any one of those points, you could experience the Christ star turnaround, and it would take you to the next level, right?
The Christ star turnaround.
When it's a evac, there's an evac situation, and that's what we have, where these are called harmonic gate systems.
Harmonic gate systems.
It's built on a system of dimensional harmonics, which means you have to take them in sequence.
Dimensional harmonics.
It's the slow train. Right? There's something called the trans.
I got a job for Spooky. I want Spooky to go through this whole fucking 90-minute video and just cut out all the terms, all the crazy made up terms that she says, and just put it all in line. Like, just have her rambling off these. Come on, Spooky, you could do it. Get some coffee. You'll have it done in a couple days.
Harmonic continuum. It actually runs
harmonic continuum.
It requires a very specialized type of Merkaba vehicle and
She plays 5D harmonica.
accelerations
Yes.
in the light body and spirit body anatomy to be able to do it. But those
This is too wackadoo even for me.
Also called the spanner gates. They are able to do that. They are transharmonic, where they can actually jump.
Yes, she's not a fan of Jesus.
Here,
she needs Jesus. Kerry Cassidy needs Jesus in her life.
You have more liberty.
Yes, he does play the meat flute, usually on other men, though.
Able to actually, you become a time jumper, basically, instead of just a straight, ascension the hard way. You go boing, 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 that kind of thing. So,
boing, 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 through the stargates to ascension.
All of the natural structures of the outer gates have been damaged. The Amenti gates are damaged. We are stuck.
Poor
down
Spooky.
Here. And the same thing is happening.
The Amenti gates are damaged. We're stuck on Earth.
It's not just in our soul.
Did you hear that? That's bad news. Makes me sad to hear that the Amenti gates are damaged and we're stuck down here on Earth.
Our solar system is a mess, but the Milky Way is a mess too. That black hole at the center, that's not an accident. That was done on purpose. That was done 360 billion years ago. Milky Way actually used to be a part of the Andromeda galaxy. And it was literally forced into what is called fall. And now there's many light years between them, at least a couple.
I'm sorry, I forgot I muted myself. There you go, Spooky. There's your homework. Go through this whole video and just clip out the weird made-up terms that she's saying and put them all in a line. But make it make more sense than she's making, right? Or you could just clip out each term and then explain what that term actually means. Ha ha! Oh, boy. Ha ha!
Forget how many
Good luck.
years are
Good luck.
between them, 2 million light years, something like that. But they were once one. That is actually our home galaxy, the Andromeda M31. But right now we're in the Milky Way, which is a fallen phantom part of it.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Still, it wasn't a full fall system.
Is he the founder though? I thought it was somebody else. That name doesn't ring a bell. I talked to one of the founders when I first started streaming there. He was supposed to do an interview with me and he never did. But yes, war is gay, and yes, war is retarded, right? I'm just trying to get Spooky back for always making me work, right? Spooky says, if you want a video of all the retarded things she says, just play the video in real time. Oh! Can we do playback speed? Yo, let's do this. Let's see what she sounds like slowed down. Do you think she's... All right. Put a 1 in the live chat if you think she's going to make more sense slowed down. And put a 2 in the live chat if you think no.
So recently, when certain changes occurred, that mean the quantum of energy going into the negative fall path is larger.
What's a negative fall path?
Pulling back the other way. And at that point, it's a galactic feedback where they're pulling out the one
0.75 speed.
Yeah,
all right, let's try her at half speed. She still doesn't sound like she's making any sense.
Consciousness that can still follow the ascension path is being evacuated out.
Now she just sounds properly drunk.
Close. Once they close and the system falls.
Oh God, we'll speed her up to 1.5%. See what she sounds like. Yes, let's hear that. Here we go. I don't know if we're ready for this, but we're going to try her at 1.5 speed. She sounds like a tweaker at normal speed, so...
The system won't immediately blow up or anything. It will have a finite lifespan. It no longer has the direct currents coming in, the inflow of currents coming in from the structure of space-time and source. So it becomes a finite system that feeds on itself until it eats up its own quantum, and then it implodes and goes back to space dust. So we are at a crossroads, a huge crossroads right now. We are on a planet that is born.
Now that she slowed down, I understand the meaning of life.
Step that path, but that requires a body, and it's going to do that.
Somebody's grandma got into the NyQuil.
Right now we have 200.
All right, now she sounds like a proper tweaker. We'll put her back to normal speed.
100 years before these gates close in the Milky Way galaxy, and that includes here. So this is why they're giving the advanced ascension teachings now. And,
that's why they're giving her advanced ascension teachings now.
With the vocabulary, because we could use a dictionary on this.
No, I mean, I expect people, it's good if they go, what did she talk about there? I don't get it, or go investigate. You see. Right. We're not here to answer all their questions, actually.
Okay, well, I don't mind.
Investigation is getting involved. And if they get involved, they learn. And then it becomes part of them.
When we
it's
see
okay.
the structures, when I'm showing things like the structures, these are structures that are not known out here yet. They have words that describe them. They have names
Sure.
for that structure. That's a Hara body, or that's a Yukatharista body.
A Yukatharista body.
These are
A horror body. She's just making
this
this bitch is just making this shit up.
Into expansion into God's.
These aren't real words.
They are the literal bones of our space-time orientation. So they are time references. When I talk about a Vecca system, that is down here, closer to where we are in a Vecca system, right? When you get up to the next level of ascension, there is the Eka system, which is
a Vecca system is lower than an Eka system. Are we clear on that? What the hell is either a Vecca or an Eka system? I don't know. This bitch is sniffing glue before this interview. She was sniffing glue.
They are words
to
describe things.
We're huffing gasoline.
Make perfect sense
or something.
To the people who are describing the Guardians. They're words in the ancient, what's called Anahazi language, which was the first spoken language in this time matrix. So a lot of the language that is used.
Yeah, it's my lot in life to work hard for a living. I come from a blue collar family. I'm used to it.
Relate to Anasazi?
And honestly, listen, here's what I will say, and I truly mean this. I still have friends that are like laborers, or painters. I have a friend that has a roofing company. That's real hard work. Like when you have to do physical labor every day, I was a painter for a while. Holy man, I would come home so sore, my back, my shoulders, my arms from doing this all day, running the roller. That's really hard work. Sitting in my office doing research doesn't feel like it's much work. So as hard as people think I work, like I used to have a physical job where I had to really work, like physically. I never want to hear any YouTube content creator or streamer complain that they have to work too hard. So I generally don't. I am so blessed to be able to do this and also take care of my children and my family. And, I have some other business interests besides this. For those that are aware, all of my stuff is created by a little media company that I started, but I have other company or business interests. But I'm so blessed. I will never complain about, I work too hard. But I do notice that I definitely work harder than David Wilcock, but that's not too hard, right? Her verbal diarrhea is exhausting. You're correct, right? Send grandma here to a convalescent home. I think she needs to go to Friends Hospital. People in Philly will notice that reference. It's a mental hospital.
It does. Okay. The Anasazi were connected to the Guardians. Actually.
So did they ascend? Is that why they disappeared?
Some of them did. Others, they were actually raided, from what I heard. They were raided and
the Anasazi light language.
Group, and some of that other group became Anasazis as well, where they became violent. And the original ones weren't like that. And yes, some of them were evacs locally, is what I heard.
Okay. The Kabbalah is got to be, I'm going to just say it here. To my understanding from what you're telling me is that Kabbalah is not the positive ascension path.
I would put this way. In relation to the Kabbalah or the Bible or the Quran or any of the texts that are out there, there are elements of truth, all of which came from the original teachings that were on this planet. There were 12 legions of the Christ, 12 bodies of teachings that went with the CDD plates. There are pieces of those that have wound up in the religions of today, and there are distortions in all of them as well.
Oh, boy.
Which means they all carry a mixed path.
Okay.
And the way to tell
takes
a while to develop the sensitivity, but there's something inside and visible of everything, be it a cup or a cosmos or a set of letters written on a page. There's something called an encryption. An encryption is a very specific radiation signature that is.
An encryption is a radiation signature. That's not what encryption means, bitch! Jesus Christ. An encryption, she said, is a radiation signature. Now it's just getting nonsensical. She's just redefining what word. Encryption is a word. It has a meaning. She's just changing the meaning of words, making up her own words.
Underlying it in the dark matter template. When you get to a certain point,
only she knows the real truth.
Which
Grifting.
sensitize your emotions
Yes.
in your body. You can know with direct cognition. You can read a sentence.
Yeah,
and
you're
which
right,
part
Sherry.
is
Yeah.
taking you in which direction. So anything.
Word
like
soup.
the Kabbalah, there's some
That's a good
beautiful
word
things
for it.
in the
Yes.
Kabbalah. And they also use a mutated tree of life because they don't remember any different. And they were tricked. Just like
Yes,
a lot of great things in the
CBD
Christian
plates,
religion
whatever that
that are,
is.
true to form, and a lot that aren't. There's been trickery ever since the Atlantean periods here. Well, there was before too, but that was the big showdown for trickery. And what we have now are the trickle-down ideas and piecemeal memory and piecemeal history of what could be salvaged from that time. There's a reason we don't remember. We'll get into that a little bit when we get into that stuff I talked about at the end that was important. But our stance isn't to make any of the other paths wrong. There's only one that we actually will stand against. If they're directly teaching
Baby babble.
Death Star Merkaba, we have to address that. We don't address the people who are teaching, and we feel bad for the people who get caught up.
Kamala's found her new running mate.
Contacted
Yes.
by Toth. Because, well, I've known Toth another life,
Encryption is
and I've known
code.
Toth in this life, and he once upon a time was a speaker, an Emerald Covenant speaker, and he broke the Emerald Covenant, and he decided to go with the Anunnaki races. And
Oh no, he broke the
stole
Emerald Covenant.
Stole the technologies.
Went to the
And part of what
Anunnaki
he did
and
is
stole
why
technology.
This planet is going in the path it is now. So it isn't the people that.
Yeah, you're shitting
we
all
don't
over
blame the
people who
teachers
believe
of
that,
those things.
you know?
The people listening to channels and they don't know what the heck they're listening to. I mean, great, it's cute. It's done,
Wackadoo
it's
City, that would be fun.
Check its resume. But how do you? We're any of the religions, any of the New Age or the Old Age religions. There's good and there's not good in both of them. And it's almost like you need to feel out and to feel what works right for you. But don't limit yourself to just saying, oh, well, it has to be the Jehovah God or it has to be the Allah.
This woman just invented her own alien-based religion, but she's going to shit all over everybody else's religion. Like, I'm sorry, but there are thousands of years of history and tradition behind many religions. And somebody just coming up with new age gobbledygook and a bunch of stupid diagrams talking about they're in communication with the Galactic Federation or whatever bullshit, shouldn't shit on other people's belief systems.
God, or it has to be.
And these same people, they get to Kerry Cassidy and this bitch would be incensed if they knew that I was making fun of them. Oh, you're making fun of my belief system and this is my truth. Well, why are you shitting all over everybody else's truth then, right?
This God or that God. You can call God whatever you want, but God doesn't really need you to call it.
Yeah, she's still at it.
It is beyond gender qualification. We were created in the image of God, all of us. And that doesn't mean we are all male or all female. It means we are all living consciousness fields that have the potential of direct creation and eternal life. And that is what that line meant. So the Kabbalah is fine, certain parts aren't. Same applies to every paradigm that is, traditionally on the planet, and a lot coming in from the New Age, except for the Death Star mechanics. They're very direct, not sacred geometry. So did that answer that question?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Good. We're ready. Where are we? Back to this. I just wanted to show this again quickly. This again is the diagrams we've used to show the structure of the spirit body with its flows and its core flows, and that's also the gate structures and all of that. It means that the cosmos has sets of spirit bodies. There's lots of these embedded within each other, and we also have our spirit body.
We have
refer to our spirit body as part of our anatomy. It is structured in this same way. Okay, and we'll see in the next one how that fits in with. Remember the stairway to heaven and the Yucatharista body. Right? Those structures are actually part of what's called the light body anatomy, be it on the cosmic level or the personal level. This is how they fit together. This is that Yucatharista thing with all those little interwoven Cathara grids, right? And this is
Cathara
the
grids
of
oh no, more
spirit,
diagrams.
The cosmic spirit body, that all of those exist within. Every one of those little Cathara grids would have a set of
fuck
these,
that guy,
right?
Whatever.
These become the spirit body, the 12 spheres in the spirit body.
Yeah, she used to take a back seat
across the vector line, right?
to the
And at certain
crazies.
points, they actually pull in to the
It's
center.
a
and that's
spirograph.
how,
Yeah.
At a certain point of expansion, you contract back into the center and go back in.
Take my
These
theology
are
lessons
actually-
from the children's Bible
this
than
is
this woman. Yes.
How the the Adashya depths, the ones who have achieved ascension, actually
She
use
does have a
these
crazy
structures
look to
as
her, yeah.
maps. These are literal.
She looks like
maps
she's
of
on
how
drugs,
you
if you
went
ask
here
me.
and you want to go to Cirrus B.
Spooky needs
density
to
2,
make a
right?
video explaining the
These are the maps
cathartic
they use to
grids.
get
Yes.
there. They are the gate interface maps. We can locate ourselves on these maps. There's one that shows exactly where we are in
Stairway to
the Milky
Heaven.
Way galaxy.
Yes.
Because we're actually M31 galaxy, but we're a part that's twisted off.
This is just fried. I'm sorry. This bitch is crazy. This is
our location.
This
Also
might
show
be
you
the
locations
craziest
where
bitch
the
we've
black
ever
races
reviewed
are
here on our
interfacing
show.
They're messing with us now, and where the
Thankfully,
the
she
main
doesn't know how to
guardians
use
are coming
PowerPoint.
from,
Yes.
and where they're helping us. So these are literally maps. These maps then translate into, these are all probability fields. So you might have one, say, galaxy, and it's 12 different probable expressions.
Ugh.
And they all of these are spinning, right? And they interface with each other all of the time. So they're like bubbles within bubbles that don't collide and collapse each other. Well, they're not supposed to. If they're doing the Death Star mechanics, they actually do. But there's a natural system of probabilities. So it's not just we have a parallel universe, right? We have many parallel systems and adjacent systems and neighboring systems. And so this is literally
This is from 2010.
This is,
and the reason we're watching this is because an awful lot of secret space clowns and fake super soldiers copy stories from this woman. But I don't even know how to copy. Like, I couldn't even begin to imagine how you copy stories from this woman, because it's just like, it's pseudoscience, babbled nonsense, made up words, and like I can't even follow any of this. Like, not even listen, I appreciate that a lot of people have different belief systems, and I try to be kind to people who really truly believe in esoteric or weird things. But even this woman, I don't know, like, what, I have no idea. We've been listening to her for almost an hour, and we're just over an hour. I have no idea what this bitch is talking about. None. It's just like a mishmash of gobbled together nonsense.
Ascend. Well, you have to first of all decide where you want to go, and then where is the map to get there? These are the maps. So I wanted to show you how those structures that
yes,
are
she's got crazy eyes.
Our own multidimensional anatomy is structured that way. But on the large level,
Kerry Cassidy appears to be elevated to Einstein level. Yes,
is the structure that science does not know about.
Since my frontal lobotomy, this makes perfect sense.
Each one of these structures, they've taken it from the first little, they call it.
And her diagrams are like from a spirograph.
How that structure grew each stage, right? So we have like hundreds of diagrams
to make weird
with these to show how the cathar grids all filled out, to show how these structures of the spirit body and all their flows filled out. Inside of the spirit body flows, which isn't on this one, they'll actually where what
AI can condense this nonsense into a few key points that someone as dumb as Ismail Perez can use. That must be what happened.
The planet has one.
She's talking out of her asshole.
The galaxy
yes,
has one, etc. So these are not just interesting little diagrams on a paper. These are very practical. They're just as practical as a map you'd buy down at the gas station to get, somewhere horizontal.
These are just as practical as a map. I disagree.
Okay, and isn't it true that we also have 12 incarnational bodies that have incarnated simultaneously that mirror the same pattern there?
1,728.
Okay,
simultaneous. Your existence implies the 1,727 others.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget what that's called.
There is something to do with the 12.
Yes,
I had to take one of those tests once for a job. It was weird.
Yeah, you have your first 12, then you have, well, it basically, it has to do with the density.
Yeah, they use older grifter stuff, recycled. Yeah.
And you have your incarnate identity here. You would have a set of 12 incarnates. And if
yes,
you put those
pointed at a Babel for reference.
You would have one soul, right? That is your soul, your density 2 level of identity. Now, that
I could try to get Grok to do
11 others.
I don't know.
A set of 12. Sure. And you pull all those together, come up to density 3, and that's where you are an oversoul. Mm-hmm. And that oversoul is a part of a group of 12 oversouls that you pull it up to density 4 is an avatar. And then you have a group of 12 avatars, pull it up to density 5, and then you would have your Rishi identity, which is
what is a Rishi identity?
Level identity to come into the densities down here. But there's other levels of identity that go up beyond the 15-dimensional system. Those 5 densities that I just talked about, each has 3 dimensions. So there's your 15-dimensional stack right there in one time system. So does that help?
Yes,
Yes,
that's
and
great.
12.
Part of my coffee.
12s, many 12s. Yep. This is just a real quick glimpse to show that these time cycles that we've talked about in relation to these structures, they are quite specific. These are given as far as time frames. One time vector here on this planet, and they're using translations into Earth time. As we know Earth time, one time vector is 730 years. One time continuum is
One time vector, one time continuum.
Fuego
This
is
girl loves big words that she doesn't even. I don't even think she knows what these words mean.
Is a Stargate cycle. That is when the Stargates on the planet open once every that period, right? Right now, it's distorted into what are called the false Yuga cycles, and we'll show you.
False Yuga cycles.
But
There's
these
more.
go all the way up. There's galactic levels. There's universal levels, and these are the structure of time and how it works. And that yes, you can take it right into periods of time.
I'm going to break
It's
Grok right
because
now.
we are in a solar activation cycle right now, and the last one was 26,556
A
years.
solar activation cycle. Does that sound familiar to anybody else? Let's see if we can break Grok. I'm going to give Grok the Vimeo link, and I'm just going to write, please summarize the teachings in this video, please. We're going to break Elon Musk's artificial intelligence brain. Retrieving a summary of teachings from Vimeo video. Browsing page to extract description. Yeah, it's just, I don't think it's going to go through the whole video. I don't think Grok can do that, sadly.
Years ago, and it failed. The gates did not open. They had to be shut closed because we got raided. That was called the Yanni Massacre period, where it was...
Oh, it got a PDF transcript of this.
Slowing people down, actually, in that one.
Okay.
Beam ships.
And was this, we're not talking about Atlantis here, we're talking prior?
There were
Are we talking about Atlantis or before Atlantis?
Right, the
Yes.
last phase of it, the last pieces of it.
New Age
went
ufologists.
in 9558
Grok
BC.
Felting.
But way before that.
It's
there
doing
was-
it via
there was in
transcript.
CD
Yeah,
one,
it's still
there
working.
was an
An
Atlantis. In
expert.
CD 2, there was an Atlantis. And on Terra, there was no.
Yeah, imagine if she applied
That's
herself to
where-
like
and
a
and
job,
Lumeria,
right?
Lumeria, Lumania.
She worked awful hard
There were
on
different
this.
spellings of the
nonsense.
same places and the same soul groups inhabiting
Right.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was like the 9558 BC period, the last period, that was like the late Atlantean period. So
Okay.
Oh my God, it summarized it.
period anyway. But these Stargate cycles, this is the cycle that our gates open on. This planet's gates are supposed to open on the 26,556 year cycle. It's now been shortened because of what they're doing to the planetary grids and the Stargates and the Templar to what's called the false Yuga cycles, which is.
I'm sorry though, even after the AI goes through it, it still sounds like nonsense to me. Listen to this. Sun's prana seed was forced closed March 25th, 2007 by negative groups, initiating a Bartow or death cycle with gamma bursts. 2008 to 2027 in Kali Krista Barta phase, rough periods 2019 to 2022, Earth changes, flares, infold by 2047. Even the AI is just confused and just respouting nonsense. Negative agendas, 2012 extinctions via wormholes, Metatronic distortions, dead light, accelerate mutations via the HARP collider, broader threat, a black hole pulls you from parallel systems without intervention and fully rips apart the cosmos, causing chaos. It's even Grok is just regurgitating her nonsense. Yes, I just gave Grok AI brain cancer with her psychobabble. It does sound like gibberish, yeah. It ain't just us, no. Even the AI is like, I don't know what the fuck she's saying. I'll just repackage it and regurgitate it.
The equinox, which is not natural, and we'll look at what that is.
All right, look, it's a 2 hour and 36 minutes. So we're going to go to 1 hour and 18 minutes and call this a part one. And someday, after I recover from this brain, like, just after I recover from the psychological abuse of having to listen to this bitch for 1 hour and 18 minutes, maybe we'll do part two.
And when that started, because that really came into fore about 13,000 years ago, when a major victory on...
You know what they say about crazy bitches. Yeah, crazy and bad. Yeah.
Just let's say the dark agenda side had occurred. They created something called the Toral Rift. It is a time rip. And it was
Grok
they
had a brain
literally
fart.
plugged
Yeah.
Earth's Templar into this time rift and knew that when it came to the next stellar
Don't
activation
read that,
cycle,
Steve.
they would use it to drag Earth in. It's not just Earth.
Oh, I forgot. I got to check
Earth
in with the
connects
Kick chat.
to
See if we got
its,
any support to call
corresponding
out over there.
planet or star, actually.
We love the
in
Kick
M31
supporters.
is called Earth
Send
Line.
me Kick
There's
money,
a direct
please.
energetic link between the gates. They're after M31.
I need
as
the
well.
Kick money.
So
I
it's
really
much
need
bigger
that
drama
money.
than people here realize.
I
They're not
really,
just
really
after little
do.
Earth. Earth has always been a fighting place because of its connection to the larger universe, and because
No, we got one whole sub on Kick today. That's it.
Called the Crystal River Host. That was.
I don't know what happened. Our Kick paycheck has evaporated. It's already almost the middle of the month, and we're at like $40 of Kick support. We're usually at several $100s of Kick support. Did all our Kick viewers just lose their jobs or what? I don't know what happened. But man, that sucks. There goes my beer money. I'm going to be drinking Brokey beer until I'm dead.
A long, long time ago, 360 billion years ago, when the Milky Way fell out of M31, there was a whole collective.
Milky Way fell.
From various other, I hate the word ascended just because of the way
this lady might actually be worse than David Wilcock.
The Adashi Adepts, people who formed a coalition.
Adashi Adepts.
Trying to re-evolve the Milky
I'd never
Way
heard of this woman.
into its natural position.
Well, you're better off than me.
An ascension system. So
this is a typical Kerry interview.
They want me to go somewhere else. Okay,
oh,
I don't know. Sometimes I'll have
the aliens are talking to her right now.
All right, they're saying go somewhere else for now. We'll come back to that.
No,
okay.
usually she interjects more.
About galactic history, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get that sometimes, even when I'm on stage.
Okay.
Where I'll just get a little hello.
Okay. Why are you saying, what is their motivation? And if you want to put this question off later, we can do that. But what are you saying? They were after
mashed
Earth.
potatoes.
They were after Earth, and they were after
Maybe she wanted to bang you.
of its connection with the larger universe. So
I love the lunch ladies at my high school because I worked in the cafeteria because I was poor, right? And they made me work in the. This is terrible. Catholic schools will make poor kids work in the school to pay part of their tuition. And I wanted to help my dad out. He was struggling, so I just did it, But the good news is I got all the free food that I could possibly eat. And they had good food there. They had I don't know, they must have had 10 lunch ladies. It was a big, huge school, So there must have been 10 lunch ladies there. They had the girl that made the donuts and another one that ran the grill and another one that made the soups. And I ate good. I love those lunch ladies. God bless them wherever they are. They got me through being poor.
Why? What is their motivation for taking us down, for closing it off and making it a finite system?
Her meds wore off, and now she's hearing voices. Yes.
They're in a black hole system that has fallen. They're, because of the nature of the physics dynamics involved with creation, the way eternal life creation works, is when a thing falls, it loses its connection to
God bless them. They used to send me home with food every day too. I'd go there after school and help clean.
Consciousness field, which
and then I would go home with a bunch of food. And my mother terrible. Now, wasn't very good at
that takes
energy. Taking care of us, cooking and stuff. And when she did cook, it was terrible.
It will implode and go back to space dust return, which is what a system was meant to.
What? We're imploding and going back to space dust return. All right, I gotta focus. I'm trying to pay attention here, and I'm not.
So everybody gets stuck, and everybody gets to go home, either as space dust or hole through ascension, whichever. At least you go home.
A hole through ascension.
That have adopted the false creation. They've tried to recreate the creation because they didn't like the consequence their own choices brought to them in relation to the physics reactions to the actions they took. They ended up in a false system, and they wouldn't face the reality that, you can make peace with that. Even if you're in a false system, you can say, well, you know what, that was pretty dumb to get ourselves into that, but we're here and we can handle ourselves with grace. We can still love creation. We can still act in loving ways. They decided instead it would be more interesting to keep themselves alive by using a vampire technology. They're going after it for quantum food, to feed their system. If they can harness this system, literally the entire quantum of energy that is in the system will be drawn into their black hole system, which will give their whole system more life. So they're postponing the inevitable, but they keep using these technologies to do that, and they prey on living systems. But there is a point in time where that backfires, and they're getting very close to that point too. So anyway, that is the core motivation. It's not that anybody's mad at anybody else or they're fighting over this toy or that toy. This is big. They're fighting over survival, and they feel that they have to kill the living systems in order to have that energy as food, period.
They have to kill the living systems in order to have the energy as food.
And
what?
That becomes the most important obsession for them. And it is a twisted thinking. When a being gets that far into de-evolution, where it really has no remorse, they don't have what you'd call emotional bodies like
yes, you did
anymore. They don't care. They just take, and they don't care about giving. They don't think about that, and they don't want to hear it. You can't rationalize with a certain level of foul consciousness. So that is what we're dealing with, and that is why.
Yeah, the aliens are going to eat us all.
But
they're going to eat us.
It's very personal.
It's a cookbook.
So, it's like, don't take it personally. Do you take it personally if you're swimming and a shark rips off your leg? It's a shark.
Sure.
You had a leg. It swam by. I mean, you're going to hate the shark. It's just doing what its instinct moves it to do. And that's kind of like what is happening here. So that's how I've been taught to look at it. And I'm at peace with it. I don't like it, but I'm at peace with it in that regard. But I will stand for the things that, for me, that mean most to me. And I believe in the loving creator God source field. And I believe in being fair to people. And I believe in telling the truth, even if it's hard. And I believe in facing the truth, even if you'd rather pretend it wasn't there. And dealing with it and taking it forward from there. So anyway, those consciousness don't think like that. But that's what it means for me when I say, we stand in the Christ. That's what it means. It's not fighting with these beings. You can do that, but they're just engaging your energy anyway. But we do have to stand and work the gates here. Somebody has got to take care of the remaining gate potentials here so that consciousness can evacuate out within the next 200 years. That is going on.
We've only got 200 years for consciousness to evacuate out of Earth, or we're all doomed. And she's the savior that's going to help us all evacuate Earth. Kind of sounds like a death cult, right? Like everybody just killed themselves. We're going to evacuate Earth. Like this is scary, crazy.
The upward swing. So, good enough.
Okay, yeah. Very good.
Tangents. So this is just showing the time, like there are literal translations into Earth time. And this would apply, like you could go sit on Venus or something, and then you could translate them into Venus time, which would be different because time has to do with how fast things spin and all of that. Never mind. Physics of
now she's going to teach us about time.
How long your day is and your sidereal time and all that crazy stuff that I don't like. With all the structures and processes.
A steady stream of nonsense.
Of
Yes.
the spirit body.
Only the best wackadoo nonsense for my audience here. Only the best wackadoo nonsense.
Right? And that's an essential.
Decaf Scientology. Yes.
New creation comes back out. There are ways to track those cycles. There are ways to track from the point of conception onwards.
She is totally nuts, this woman.
Body
Yes.
and cycles. And there are also ways to track
spirit body
vibration
cooking.
cycle.
What?
And they often use this diagram. This diagram has to do with octants and specific ways the energy
More
is
dartboard
divided
galactic
up,
physics. Yes.
and within those structures that we've looked at. And
Well, you know what's so
this is
funny
just showing
about the
how-
stuff that she makes? It's like you can't even really argue with what she's saying because it's so nonsensical. Like, where do you even begin? Right? Like, Thorazine grade nuts. Yes, she's like a Heaven's Gate nutter. Yes, right? Wow. This is the craziest wackadoo that we've had.
The loadout schedule from 2008 to 333 AD cycle. Now, it doesn't mean we get this, the gates are going to be open here till 333 AD. They're going to close over here in 2230. That is when the gate systems here close. But this is actually...
Yeah, that never happened. He's an asshole. He's a
here,
lying scumbag. Calling me a thief while he's stealing from his audience for nonsense.
Celebration. We call it a celebration. At the time, after certain
We're
things...
going to go through a wormhole
as
into
we
a
moved
black
into
hole in a
2008, if we did
Stargate.
not hit
Shut up
this
and give
point
her
at a
the
certain
buy her
level of
book.
core vibration, we would have gone into
Prepare
fall
yourself
right
for the
there. We would have
coming
been
ascension.
told to host. All the gates would have shut except the fall gates, and we would have all been stuck, and it would have, well, we'd all been extinct in 2012. That was the other side's plan. But we did make the vibration for the Kalihara, which allowed us to pick up into the host, which is called the Crystal River host. This has to do with a stream of energy currents that are coming in from a matrix that I'll show you later on the maps that are the high level of the Guardian Alliance. They're like the ones that wrote the books originally. They're like the small layers from our matrix. These are massive Messianic beings. And that means they're the eternal life beings, the ones who've gone through the Adashi return cycles. And, so anyway, we were able to pick up the host, the planet was, where it could anchor those frequencies as long as there was somebody here to anchor it. And that is what our groups have been doing. We're
saving Earth. We're all saving Earth.
And we're all anchoring something.
We're saving Earth with gobbledygook nonsense teachings.
Metatonic currents. And there's a few
found the
people that just because they
dishwasher
happen to have
manual
DNA
and changed the
codes that are
words.
connected with the Christ and don't know it, are just going about their little lives, but anchoring
Part
it.
two on
they're
Pornhub.
good
What?
currents anyway. But there are. I'm not
dishwasher
aware of
manual.
any
That's
other
why she
groups
talks
that
about
are working
cycles.
at all with the Christian energies as far as the grid work.
See,
So we go around and we do grid work.
I never thought I'd heard
specifically.
somebody that's more full of
These
shit than
type of
Corey
diagrams,
Good, but here
when
we
we
are.
go to do like grid
This
work
is where we're
someplace,
at.
we know what
This
a
is
vortex
where we
is.
find
right? We
ourselves.
know where to go. We know this information. We don't just go,
You are correct, Dynamite Chris.
planetary
You are
guardian. A lot
correct.
of people do, unfortunately. People that are inadvertently anchoring the negative currents and opening gate sites on the
Oh, and by the
wormhole
way,
codes.
I was wrong. Like, we did have good attendance tonight for this, and I'm so sorry that we had good attendance for this crate. This bitch is crazy, like batshit, sniffing glue, tweaking her ass off, crazy.
Because they don't know, because nobody taught them, the difference between them. So anyway, we made this into this cycle, and this is good because if we didn't, it would have been all over.
Sitting like an Indian guru, even though
But
she's
this-
sitting in a
we passed the
grown-up
Pali
chair.
cycle. We're in this cycle period.
Yes,
right
Arlene
there,
is
right
the
now,
best moderator. That's why
which,
she's
we
pretty
haven't
much
come
the
to
only
center point
moderator.
yet. That'll be 2020.
We used to have a bunch. We don't need a bunch.
There are certain energy changes that take place here, a certain accretion cycle.
Well,
That means energy
yeah,
coming in.
people say that,
Right.
but there's actual historical evidence that Jesus existed and was crucified. And so you can say what you want, to each their own. If that's what you believe, congratulations.
These are accretion cycles where energy pulls in to a certain point. There are certain things that happen in each of these stages. So we are right here in this stage. Is the
Carrie's
first
not
stage
doing the
of
usual
the
dunking,
Christ
yes.
cycle. This is what they call this one, the Barda phase.
Yeah, buy a
And then
fucking
over
watch,
here,
Tim Curley.
there's the,
Yeah.
The Masha phase, I believe, and that's where you get the Mashayana.
This woman is the
from.
kid who
And
huffed white.
the word Messiah was twisted.
I am
from
Ra.
that word,
Pull my
the
finger.
Mashayana word
Yeah.
in the ancient Atlantean teachings. That's an Anahazi word having to do with.
Oh my God, we're almost there. We need to do 2 more minutes of this, and we're halfway through. Can you believe we're only halfway through? What do you think the rest of this is like? I don't know.
And it's related, is it related somewhat to Mahayana? Mahabharata?
Yes,
Yes.
very much. In fact, a lot of the Mahabharata.
I know, I'm
texts
just busting your
were
balls.
Some of the remnants.
Yeah, I
that
bust
had come up
everybody's
from
balls.
Mahabharata texts that were the translations of the CBD plates much earlier. Yeah. So anyway, we have.
Yeah,
this
be
point, when
nice.
we get over here.
Arlene
that
are
is
gonna smack you
2047.
down.
We don't have it marked for this one, but this would be the point in this cycle. It would be 2047, and this is where something called an unfold happens. Where when we go back to remembering the vector line,
It's a
with the
fucking
RFID
dartboard!
right? And at certain points, they
Her diagram is a dartboard. Look at it.
That is going to occur
It's a
with energy
dartboard.
systems in literally in the parts of this galaxy that can hold the host, including Earth, including our own. This is where
It's a
something called an unfold
dartboard.
happens.
That's a dartboard. That is a dartboard. I have one in my garage.
Where when we go back to remembering the vector line with the Hara bodies on it, right? And at certain points they pull into the center and then
Yes,
come back out again.
it's
That is
unfalsifiable.
going
You
to
were
occur
very
with
correct.
energy systems
And
in-
I did a
in,
whole teaching on falsifiability. For those unaware, if something is not falsifiable, it means that, for example, I can't prove that what you're saying is false, but you can't prove that it is true. Therefore, it has no value. We're just at an impasse. If it's not falsifiable, in other words, can it be tested to be true or untrue, then it has no value. And you're correct. Trey Smith says the entire New Age grifter movement is mostly made of psychologists called unfalsifiable statements. They mesmerized and can't be proven false, but we can laugh at them. Yeah. And there's an awful lot of grifters, you are correct, with unfalsifiable. Like every person that claims they were abducted by aliens telling their story, it's unfalsifiable. I can't prove that you weren't, but you can't prove that you were. So where does that leave us? Nowhere. That means your information is completely worthless. Information that cannot be proven either true or false is worthless. I don't know. I miss the good old days of UFO scammers where they actually had a fake pictures and things that could be tested and proven to be fake. Now people it just turned into story time, alien story time, right? This lady must be where Weisberger got the Area 51 info. I wouldn't be surprised, right? Wilcock was the orderly at the Loon House. It's how he got into Ascension. That is correct. All right, what are we up to? All right, one more minute. We only got to do one more minute of this crazy bitch, and we will have made it through half of this crazy bitch.
Literally in the parts of this galaxy that can hold the host, including Earth, including our own fields. So right now we're making it through this part of the cycle. There's certain changes that will happen here. This is a point, that middle point, during which something called the Bardo chambers open. Now, the Bardo chambers...
That's right, do that. Do what Ambergeddon says.
It can be
Ra commands you.
Or it can be a time when people evac the quickest way possible. And we are still looking at the potentiality of there could be major Earth changes that occur.
Who is Lou Baldwin? Period. I don't know who that is.
And at this point, it's like if we get that far. Because what's happening between now and 2012 is
it's a dartboard.
And what some of the other ones...
It's not a galactic explanation of anything.
Have planned.
Meaning of life is a dartboard? Come on, bitch. Do better.
So we're trying to help keep the grid stable and the consciousness stable just by working energy, as opposed to trying to go out and preach on anything.
She's trying to help keep the grid stable.
We teach what we teach. But there are this is a really bumpy period we're going through here because of what...
All right, we're going to do 2 more minutes. I could bear 2 more minutes of this crazy glue-sniffing bitch.
The service to self ones are doing. And they are seriously just trying to use...
And you notice service to self, service to others, that's stolen from the Law of One. So even she is stealing from previous material before her.
They're trying to take our planet, forget about us, they don't care. They were planning to exterminate us in 2012 and just use it as...
Yes, join the Patreon. It's only $1.
To their feed their
Give me $1.
So when you have an objective...
You gotta listen to this shit. I deserve some dollars.
Lost, but the Guardians do. And that's why we're still here. So we're moving through this period now. We're probably somewhere right about here because this will be 2027. There's some rough spots coming in 2019 and 2022. And also we are in the middle, well, not quite the middle.
Notice the vague statements. There's some rough spots coming in 2017 and 2019. Well, we all experience rough spots. Has anybody ever had a year where you didn't have some kind of rough patch of life? I haven't. There's always rough patches of life. So,
but in March of, it was March 25th, 2007, there were certain things that a particular group of the Raider races called the Borgia that are...
The Borgia. She's just making up alien race names now? They're called the Borgia.
Connected with the Thetans.
More like the bullshit.
They kind of work together. They're on the negative side. They're part of the groups that are fighting over who's going to control this beast machine. This
would be so much better if she stopped and sniffed glue right on camera. Like, imagine, there are some cuts. Who thinks that she was sniffing glue when there was an edit? Like, Kerry's like, listen, we're going to have to cut out the parts where you're sniffing the glue. Ha ha! Glue sniffing bitch. Ha ha! Tim Crowley with 1 for the goal. Paying the late tax. Where's Kerry? Did she pass out in a stupor? No, she seems vaguely sober during this interview. I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed, but thank you, Tim Crowley, who is a member and a longtime show supporter, big show supporter, but he needs to save his money instead of giving it to me and buy himself a watch because he's always late for the show. It's only 2 hours and 17 minutes in. You're just getting here. But we'll take your money, and we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right. What did I say? Oh, we're at 119. 1 more minute.
Death Star, Merkaba here.
I'm not doing any more than 1 minute, though. I don't care how much money you people give me. It's not worth it.
They closed what is called the prana seed.
She's on element 115.
Sophisticated anatomy.
Right.
We all have one, and so do planets and galaxies. When a prana seed closes, it forces the Bardo.
Well, that's interesting.
Which means it forces this beginning of the death cycle. and our sun is dying as of that point. That doesn't mean it's immediately going to die. There are
Oh, you're
15
right.
layers
Yeah,
of
I
the
remember
dark
that from
matter
Catholic
chemicals inside the
history.
body that need to separate from the physical matter body. That will be done in 2022. Now, there is a gamma burst.
Did you hear this? In 2020, she's predicting that ascension would come in 2022, that we would separate our soul force or light body from our physical body, and that would happen in 2022. I didn't get my light body, you glue sniffing bitch. Where's my light body? It's years late. I was supposed to get my light body in 2022, you just said. I don't think you sniffed enough glue or something. Come on. And history is always the enemy of these scammers because they all, they're filled with like hubris and ego, and they make these predictions. Like here she is. She just predicted in this interview from 2010 that we would all separate from our light bodies from our physical bodies, and that was going to happen in 2022. I didn't get my light body. Did anybody get their light body in 2020? I didn't get a light body.
That is released, and right now it's being buffered every time one of those, they call them ring waves, solar ring waves, releases. And they will get stronger as it goes into the higher levels of the rings, the higher numbers of those 15.
Sounds like Wilcox stole a lot of his solar flash nonsense from this lady.
And 15 comes in 2022. So, so far so good. We haven't had any major gamma bursts, solar flares that wiped everything out. But these are other potentials that we are looking at as well.
Oh, God. All right. We made it to an hour and 20 minutes in, which means we have less than an hour and 20 minutes left. Yes, to donate, you can send a PayPal to truthseekershow@gmail.com, and I will check in with that. But isn't this interesting? I just found out we still have a pill channel. After all the time, we haven't broadcast there since, wow, does it give a date? Russian-based space weapons was the last time wow, it was quite a while.
Garden Botanicals brings you
Oh,
herbal
look at that.
remedies
There's
such as
ads.
sunshine and pine with white pine for cerumen and quercetin.
Am I getting paid for these ads?
Popular during the
Why are there ads? They're not paying me. Where's my money?
A healthy lifestyle. Elderberry tonic.
This is
praised for its respiratory.
Wow, that's
Orange
funny.
salve.
This is
Sore
from
muscles available with or without
All right,
CBD.
one
Try our
second here.
DIY herbal kits. Visit Earth Garden.
I don't want to help them advertise. So it looks like our last pilled broadcast was in February 2024. One moment here. I got the ads still playing. So they're still playing ads on where's my money? How do you check where your money is? I don't know. I don't see I don't know. I haven't been on this site in so long, trying to see where my money is. They're still playing ads. The last video that we did there was in February of 2024. So it's been a year since we broadcast anything over there. Interesting. Receive notifications, share, follow, edit profile. Where's my money? I'm just interested. Did we make any money in the past year over there? I don't think so. It does not appear that we've made any money. Create topic. Yeah, where do you find out where your money is? I don't know. I'll have to mess with this later. I don't want to bore you guys. So we made it through. We made it through the crazy. That must be the craziest bitch. The check is in the mail. Yes. Set my vibration to low. Yeah. Maybe some of you ascended in 2022. Lost weight. Does that count? Yes, that was work. Right? And we want to thank you, kind and generous benefactors, for supporting the show tonight. This was I can honestly say that this bitch was the craziest wackadoo that we've ever had to listen to. Just a sheer volume of bullshittery coming through my headphones. And it just seems like she's making up words. She's redefining what the word cryptogram means or whatever, cryptography. she's just redefining what a word means, making up words for alien species that I've never heard of. And my favorite was the dartboard, though, that she says explained like the whole meaning of life. And okay, a dartboard explains the meaning of life. You can try to explain that one to me, right? I don't get it. And I certainly don't get why anybody would steal this lady's material. Did this sound like great material? Right? Like, this material is so good, let's all copy it. Then again, people copied Corey Good's material, right? Oh boy. Yeah, and a friend sent me this. Isn't this interesting? Fiverr, you know the company Fiverr, people used to go hire somebody on Fiverr to do something quick for them, like a graphic or a logo. They are down 95% year over year from this time February last year. They are down 95%. So it looks like that's another victim of AI, right? So, yeah, it sounds good to a super soldier grifter, right? The craziest. Do I need to go back and watch to get waterboarded by all the nonsense words? Yeah, she's just making up terms and scientific explanations and stuff. Dartboard, trademark. Yes, that explains the whole universe. Her dartboard. It is really crazy, right? Positive energy of common sense has overtaken my light body, says Amber Geddon. And Hippocrof says, I have lecture hall flashbacks. My vibration is too low. That is correct. Yes. Listen, I will say this. I think AI is a useful tool, but it shouldn't replace humans for many things. Like, personally, I can't stand when these AI avatars, even though I've used it myself for a quick cheat, a few times I've used it, but I've decided I'm not going to continue to use it. I know somebody who gave up doing videos, and they just have an AI avatar and they feed it a script. And I think they even have the script written by, ChatGPT or Grok. So really, they're not really making content now. They're kind of just pretending to make content, and an AI is doing everything for them. But I don't like, like if I click on a video and I want to watch a video and it's an AI person and it's still too obvious. It's not convincing enough yet. Maybe there's some better ones. I don't know. The ones that I use, they're not good enough to pass for really me. It becomes obvious that that's a AI avatar of me, right? I bet they make you watch this crap nonstop 24/7 at Gitmo until they break you. That would be a good form of torture. Just make them listen to this crazy bitch, right? Brad Pitt versus Tom Cruise fight. Yeah, see, here's what I think AI is good for. Have you guys seen the Brad Pitt versus Tom Cruise fight scene? Just go on YouTube or Twitter and just Tom Cruise versus Brad Pitt fight, and you'll see it. That's what AI is good for. Or making funny videos with Trump doing stuff. Like, I just saw a video of Trump as Jason, and he's like terrorizing all the Democrats. Like, that shit is funny. Or there's a Star Wars channel. I think it's called Star Wars Untold Stories or something like that. And holy shit, this guy just showed like a video of like the Empire chasing down Luke after Return of the Jedi. It looks great. It sounds great. And listen, fuck Disney. They're never going to give the fans what they want. So let the fans do it with AI. And it's still a little rough. You can kind of tell it's not really Mark Hamill in his heyday, but I'm telling you, in a couple of years, you won't be able to tell the difference. And, I think AI is good for parodies, comedic stuff. Look at that Songs in the Key of CWC that makes those music videos for Dark Side Phil and, well, for Kino Casino. But I'm in one of those. That shit looks totally real. It's funny as hell. Why not use AI for stuff? That's what I think it should be used for. But an awful lot of people, including a lot of content creators I know, think that AI is the key to them not working anymore. Like they're just going to make AI. They don't have to record themselves reading a script, and like it doesn't. It's not that. When I tried it. I said, let me see, and then I was curious. Are people going to know? Everybody knew that wasn't me. Everybody knew that was an AI avatar of me. And also, I just wanted to attempt it and see what it'll look like for the piece that I used it in, which is that Sarah introduction. I thought this is pretty good, but then go watch the Sarah introduction with me reading a script, and then go watch the Tall White Aliens documentary with me reading the script. It's so much better to just read the script, and it doesn't take much longer to just sit there and read the script. The problem is, one thing I'll say is, when you feed these AI avatars the audio file, it's going to say it perfectly, and you don't need to edit, so it's quick. But if you read the script, you might make, like I read that Charles Hall script, and I had to make 6 or 7 edits where I screwed up a word, I stopped, and then I started the next sentence or whatever. FP Yusoff says, Steven needs to be back on the Kino Casino. Well, I keep saying I'm game whenever they want me, but remember, they're very busy, and, I don't want to be that needy friend that's like, come on, guys, let me on your show. Let me on your show. TJ Felony says, AI slop isn't content. Like I said, I think it's good for things like music videos, parodies, Steven is an OG and helps people that actually has experience trying to figure out the new age con men and women. Well, I do my best, right? All right, yeah. So, that's my thoughts on AI. I think it's a useful tool, Like, I can tell Grok, go find me 25 sources, skeptical sources about, and then whatever subject that I want, like Skinwalker Ranch. And it'll find me 25 websites, 25 articles that I can then peruse through and use. It's almost like Google 2.0. That's what I'm using some of the AI that I use for research. It's a lot faster to tell an AI, go find me 25 sources about this. And then it goes and does it, right? All right. So I think we've done our due diligence, more than our due diligence. We had to sit through this crazy psychobabble glue sniffing bitch, man. I swear she was on some kind of drugs. Did you see her eyes? Like, I don't know, man. Yeah. So, I think we're going to bounce on out of here, but I will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I haven't decided if that's going to be a kick-only show or not. It depends on what I come up with for tomorrow. I'm going to work on that tonight. But let me know what you think in the comments. Was this the craziest wackadoo that we have ever sampled here on Truth Seekers? I think, my own opinion, it's far, far away the craziest. With the possible exception of that guy who was saying Star Trek was real and he really went on the Voyage Home mission with Captain Kirk and shit, right? Right? Remember that guy? All right. So we have done our due diligence. I should be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. But then again, it is Valentine's Day. But honestly, my wife and I don't do very much since the kids. We used to have a bang-a-thon every year. But that doesn't happen when you have children because they're the worst. Children are the worst cock blockers in the world, right? Mommy, I need a drink. Mommy, I need this or I need that. Like, I'm just trying to get it in and they make things difficult. So we don't really do that much anymore. I know we're getting Chinese food. I know that much. And I have to go get my wife flowers from my boys and a card from my boys or some gifts or whatever. So I got to do that early tomorrow. But otherwise, I don't have very much to do tomorrow. So I'm thinking that I should be okay to be here. And by the way, in the live chat, what is everybody doing for Valentine's Day? Do you have plans? Let me know in the comments what your plans are. I could probably use some plans. Right now, my wife is on a Valentine's Day date herself, but it's okay. she's with my two children, my boys, at Chuck E. Cheese. I swear to God, my wife picked this house because it's 20 minutes from both Chuck E. Cheese and Sesame Place. They go there all the time. I think they're there once a week. But we have season passes for the Sesame Place thing, which I guess is a good idea, right? If you're gonna live right next to it, people fly in from. We meet people all the time, and they're like from Florida or California. I'm like, you really flew all the way here just to go to Sesame Place? Oh yeah, we live 10 minutes from there. Wife and I don't do Hallmark holidays, says Urban Terror. Eating candy. Crying in a corner, says Sky Prop. Well, that's sad. The Wackadoo Hall of Fame. You're correct, right? Wanking like DSP. You're going to wank on Valentine's Day? Sending AI porn of me and everyone's wives. What? That is bad. Amber Geddon is alone for Valentine's Day, and I also have to work. Well, you ought to get together with Sky Prop. He's going to be crying in a corner. You guys should hang out. Have a Zoom date or something, right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Valentine's. Honestly, Valentine's Day is just one of those days where I got to go do things. You know, it used to be a lot more fun. Me and my wife used to go places or do things. Occasionally, we would get a swanky hotel room. There was a place in Philly called Inn of the Dove. I think it's still there. And, you know, I mean, it's like $150 a night, but you're only going there for one night. And they have like a jacuzzi, hot tub, and a pool right in the room. And we used to do stuff like that. But since the boys, you know, we have a staycation, I guess, right? Stephen the Matchmaker. Well, everybody needs some love, right? Everybody needs some love. I wish everybody to have a significant other. Except for my divorced friends, because I'm so tired of divorced friends of mine trying to get me to fix them up. Like, what do you think? I just know like 100 single women I can hook you up with? Like, you know, everybody I know is divorced, so they're always trying to get me. Does your wife have any single friends I can bang? No, I don't know. I'm not going to ask her that. And besides, didn't you like fail at marriage twice? Why am I going to set a woman up for you? You failure at relationships. It's gross, right? Well, we've done our due diligence. I suppose I'm just going to leave you with. I'm trying to find a bumper here. 1 second here. I'm going to get a weird background on this one. Oh no. Yeah. My bumpers are a mess. Well, I'm going to leave you with the begging bumper. How about that? And how to support us bumper. That's fine. Since we're broadcasting to more locations. Oh, no, I found one. I don't want to do the begging bumper twice in one show. So I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. I want to thank you, kind and generous benefactors, no matter how you're supporting us on Kick, on Patreon, on PayPal, sending super chats, subbing on Kick, sending kicks on Kick. And hopefully we'll get back to some of this other streaming platforms where you can pay us, right? Yeah. So I should be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I don't think my wife would object to that, but I'm going to ask her, like, do you want me to just hang out with you tonight, or is it okay if I do a show? She's kind of sick of me, you know, so she'd much rather hang out with her kids. I don't know, man. Nobody tells you when you have kids, they're going to be the greatest competition for your wife's attention in your life, right? But I mean, I don't blame her. She's a great mom. So I'm wishing you a happy Valentine's Day tomorrow, whether I'm broadcasting or not, but I probably will be. So that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.
Truth seekers exposing the truth. Truth seekers coming for you. Truth seekers exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes. They lie again. Have you had your fill? Let go. rise. Take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. Truth seekers exposing the truth. Truth seekers coming for you. Truth seekers exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. Truth seekers exposing the truth. Truth seekers coming for you. Truth seekers exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes.